In general, how do you feel about today's game?
Nice.
All right, and we're live. Welcome to week 2 of the EGL League of Legends Circuit. This week we have EGL versus PTC with my co-host Bearson and Burn Victim. So I was just wondering right away what your guys' thoughts are on this matchup as we're getting ready to load into champ select in the next couple minutes.
I think it'll be a really close game. Both of these teams have had a lot of history, like playing with each other with very similar rosters. Um, I know people like Cryptic, Findy, and PyPy have been playing together for a very long time. Um, Same thing with the PTC squad. I remember like there was like tournaments like a couple years ago in which Megan Foxy, Mega Man, Deadpool Gambit have all played on the same team. So in terms of like coordination and stuff, they shouldn't be lacking like any of it. These guys have been playing together for a very long time.
And yeah, I'm mainly interested in seeing, just how Champ Select plays out. Um, just seeing how the picks and bans compare to the first week. So just kind of seeing what the differences are, because the majority of the teams here are around the same elo for the most part. So I just want to see if there's a big difference or if anything kind of plays out similarly.
hmm Yeah, it's been really interesting to see like all the teams' different kind of like pocket picks and stuff um, between like the games like last weekend and what we'll see like this weekend. Every team has already seemed to like found like what like works for them, and um, hopefully they can execute it really well today, um, and take out the victory.
Yeah, because it's always interesting to see whether or not teams go for, like comfort picks, champs that they play primarily, or if they go more towards, the champs that are considered meta or are very, very strong in, 5v5 settings. So we'll have to see how it plays out in the first game, and we'll see if teams kind of adapt from there as they, like you said earlier, these teams are very familiar with each other. So, if they know that certain players really gravitate towards certain champs, we'll definitely see some target bans coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and outside those first initial thoughts, I thought maybe for the viewers that aren't familiar with these players, I'd quickly run through the teams today. So for EGL, they have a substitute today, so my graphic isn't going to be up to date. Gilio's actually been subbed out currently for Padawan Tanya. And then in the jungle, it's Viz. And then mid lane, it's Cryptic. Bot lane, it's Vindy and PyPy at support. And then for PTC, it's Megan Foxy in the top lane, Jig and Jag jungle, Mega Man Zero mid, Deadpool Gambit, and Big Lots at support. So, obviously, when we were talking about PTC, what do you guys think like the big players are for their team? I always look at Mega Man Zero as like the big player to look at on that team.
Yeah, he is a super consistent player. I used to play with him in the collegiate scene, and he is super strong in lane and trying to help his teammates out. Yeah, it is really hard to punish Mega Man. I remember like played it against a tournament against him, and one of the games went 70 minutes long, and we didn't kill him once until 64 minutes in. So he's definitely like the star player on that team.
Yeah, just looking at their rankings, he's Diamond 3 from what it looks like. So definitely, probably the most dangerous player on their team. I haven't played against I think any of the players on PTC recently. I've definitely played against them in the past, and I kind of share the same thought process there, where Mega Man Zero is definitely the strongest member there. So we'll have to see if they prioritize mid lane, on either side. So
Looks like we're rolling into Champ Select here as well. Leona right away, the first ban, targeting that champion out. I think last week one of the discussions was around the fact that we believe Leona is probably going to be one of the strongest supports in this league. I don't know if you guys agree with that as well.
Yeah, I agree. It's just super tanky at like level 2 with aftershock and stuff. Super strong engage. Like you can just throw out the solar flare, and if it hits, then it's great, and you have a good engage. But if it like doesn't get as good of an engage as you want, like you're not like committing to anything.
I think Leona's probably just one of the safest supports in the game right now. Just ridiculously tanky, taking aftershock, and if you land any form of her 3 skills for CC, you're going to be able to follow up with the other 2. So landing one skill leading into a very long stretch of a character not being able to do anything, that's incredibly strong. And just as far as the bans playing out, pretty fast bans here, and we are definitely seeing a little bit of focus on mid lane from EGL banning out Victor and Kassadin.
Yeah, the Cassidy is kind of interesting to me. It kind of will show like how they want to play the draft, because like my thoughts have always been like Cassidy is like super good for like the second ban phase, but they're choosing to ban it right here. So maybe EGL wants to get like a priority mid lane pick in the first 3 picks, but we already see the Morgana coming out probably in the bot lane to counter the Nautilus.
Yeah, we've talked about this a lot in our champ selects about if we want to prioritize Nautilus, and are we worried about the opponent or the opposing team picking Morgana into it. So definitely looks like EGL is comfortable letting Nautilus go and picking Morgana as that counter.
Yeah, and definitely showing that PTC is okay with giving that Morgana over.
Mm-hmm.
But now Ezreal comes in, and the Ezreal's a very safe AD carry, and it's really nice into the Jarvan. Being able to arcane shift out of the Cataclysm makes it a lot harder for Jarvan to lock down on the AD carry as the ideal situation would be.
Yeah, funny to see that Swain ban come through. That's definitely a target ban. We've seen Swain be played in the bot lane pretty heavily for EGL, so
yeah, they really like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought
They
the
like to play
Xayah ban was also very interesting on the EGL side, so maybe they know something about that champ that I don't, because I kind of feel without the Rakan alongside her, she is kind of a weak champion at the moment.
Yeah, especially since it's a red side ban. Normally, like blue side will ban Xayah because like they can just pick Xayah Rakan in the first 2 picks right away. A little odd to see on the red side, but kind of like last week, it seems like it's just like a handshake for like J4 Rek'Sai.
Yeah, I think it was actually J4 Rek'Sai both games last week, and the teams flip-flop the picks. We're seeing it again this week, so we'll have to see, how big of an impact those teams have against each other. If Rek'Sai's going to want to try any invades on the J4, and if the J4 just walks away and tries to focus on other parts of the map. But yeah, interesting that we're seeing this same jungle matchup three games in a row.
Yeah, it'll be also like really crazy in the bot lane, because like you have like Caitlyn Morgana on one side, which is like super good at shoving lanes, and like Ezreal's not known for like winning lane, so this is already like a pretty good setup for the EGL bot lane.
And
And
more
now,
mid bans coming out with 2 more from
yeah,
EGL, 1 from PTC, and we'll see what this last one is.
yeah. The Zoe has been a very good like comfort pick for Mega Man. He very much likes that champion. And granted, he's like very strong on a lot of champions, but especially like that and the Syndra. Syndra's super good with like the long range stunts and stuff. Um, the only thing I'm like concerned about is like EGL has the Jarvan, which is like really good into the champions that are mobile, but you have Azir and Corki both up now. So maybe Mega Man will pick one of those. And now Set is locked in for the top lane of EGL.
Yeah, definitely looks like EGL is looking to save the last pick for a counter pick on Cryptic there. And the
Yeah, which I
Azir
think is
coming
probably
in.
the right move. Just wanting to get your mid, on a comfort pick or a comfort lane at least versus Mega Man, which is pretty important. So they're able to blind pick Set, a very strong top laner. I'm sure we'll see a lot of him in either the ban or pick phase here, and they end up countering it with Orin, which is a very safe lane to pick and scales fantastic. So
Yeah. How does Set abuse that lane Bearson much? 'Cause you're a
he can
big
he can
laner.
definitely try. I would say that I think that is a very comfortable lane I'd be okay with playing as Orin.
Okay.
I feel like I would be maybe a little pressured if I was on the Set side of trying to make something happen, or making sure that your skirmishes or team fights are played a lot better. I think it's a little bit harder to play as Set versus Orin, but yeah, they are very comfortable picking Orin into Set, and as the last pick we see Lysandra come out to pick into that Azir.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting because like Lysandra like should get bullied out a little bit by the range of Azir, um, but it will be interesting because like Mega Man's practically forced to take cleanse now. I feel like, and Lysandra just has such a good time like engaging with that claw into the W snare, um, being able to lock down like one person with the ulti if needed. So um, I don't know if Lysandra will have a great time in the lane. This is definitely showing like, hey, let's make some stuff happen in the side lanes with Cryptic and Viz.
Yeah, and moving outside of that, I thought really quick as we are getting ready to load in the game, I'd put on an interview that I conducted with one of EGL's members, Viz in the jungle, just to see what he thought about today's games and how ready he felt before coming into it. So how do you feel about today's jungle matchup against Jig and Jag? I don't think I've seen much from him. I don't know if he's been in past tournaments or not.
Yeah, he's been on their team for like every single tournament that we've played against him on. The one at St. Norbert, we played against him, but he just plays like safe junglers like Zach, Sedge, and then like against them, I've noticed as well they ban J4 or it's either pick ban, especially in my games. I don't know why it's such a high priority, but it just is.
So do you feel comfortable playing into him then, just because he plays like safer junglers, or I mean, is it kind of annoying because he kind of has a similar champ pool to you, or what's the
Yeah,
plan there?
I feel like our play style is pretty like matched, but if I get J4, I get it. But if not, then I play more aggressive picks like Graves or Echo or Kane, just like against this team.
To elaborate a little bit more and maybe look at like the larger picture of the league, what do you think about like the jungle meta across the whole league? I mean, I think personally, for me, the jungle is probably one of the least interesting roles like in the league in particular. I think like top and mid lane has more volatile matchups with the players in the league, but it seems like jungle, a lot of the players are just more into playing the scaling like team fight picks like the Jarvins, the Sejuanis, and the Zacks. So I was wondering if you think that like Jarvan and Zac and stuff like that are going to be like top picks and be contested every single game.
Right. I think the Jarvan, the Zach, the Graves, and the Rek'Sai are going to be like mainly picked. And I mainly think that because there's not like very many good players as like junglers. Like you're not going to see a jungler go 14-0 and carry a game. Like we're going to be forced to like go for the drag. So we're going to have to play those champs that can either contest a drag or just 50-50 it. And like J4, Echo, Graves, Zach can all do that. And like if it means that like getting a soul means that I have to go on 1v5 and smite, like that's what I'll have to do. But I feel like just in this league, that's what we have to do. We can't like, I don't think that we're good enough to just play a scaling pick and win the game because we're scaling.
So to maybe dive deeper into what you were just talking about, do you think that you guys have a advantage earlier on in the season since you guys have been together for so long?
I feel like us as a team and Mega Man's team have been like together the longest, and like all the other players and the other teams are all like associated and they're thrown together. But FN, like that team is like pretty new, and I have never seen them drop a game yet. So I just think they're just 5 good players who clicked very well, and then Risk It is a pretty decent IGL. So I don't know how that happened, but yeah, they just seem to be good players. And then I feel like we might have a little bit slighter advantage on the other teams than the others, just because we know how each other play and we know like what our win condition is every single game. Like we know what we have to do.
All right, and we are back to live. Just loading into game right now.
Yeah, so far everything for like the roots and stuff is like pretty standard. The thing that caught my eye was Morgana has Glacial Augment, which is a little interesting. I know a lot of people will go like something in the Blue Tree or Guardian, and then the J4 went Guardian as well. So I don't know if like how strong that'll be versus something else. If J4s normally go like Conquer or something, or yeah, I'm not sure what they normally take.
Yeah, just as far as the team comps themselves go, as we kind of see how these teams start out, it looks like a 5-point for sure from PTC, and I think probably the same from EGL here. So, yeah, as far as team comps goes, both of them definitely looking for 5v5 team fights. I think I might give the slight edge to PTC just as far as the team goes. I think Ornn, Azir, Ezreal scaling. I think that's incredibly strong and might have a bit of an edge depending how late this game goes.
Yeah, and like we noticed before, it's like they picked J4 and then PTC picked Ezreal and Azir, which are both very mobile, so it'll be really hard for them to be able to lock people down like Lissandra and J4 normally want to. But especially if EGL can play like through the bot side, they do have winning bot side early. Maybe they can pick up some dragons early, and kind of get things rolling through there.
Yeah, it looks like the first dragon's going to be a mountain drake, so we'll see if teams prioritize that quickly, as both junglers starting on their reds, so Rek'Sai bot side and Jarvan on top side. We're seeing a very early gank up top here, actually.
Yeah, level 2 gank top side. Does bring the flash out of Meg and Foxy.
Yeah, so really just a quick, good setup. I mean, Set starts E, so he gets a quick pull to pull Ornn back in. Jarvan comes up right away and burns the flash, so we'll see if he decides to revisit that. It looks like Rek'Sai just kind of goes for a straight clear, red to blue, and we'll most likely see a ground clear as well.
Yep. That's the kind of nice thing about the J4 gank is Rek'Sai can't really punish that since he went straight from the red to blue. If he would have done like some other clear, like possibly, then maybe he could have went straight to the blue side, but now it's already on the opposite side of the map. So very value gank from J4. Because
Yeah, and this is kind of why I feel like it's tough to play this set side of the matchup, who he is
Ooh.
getting a little bit abused here. And a flash from Rek'Sai comes out, unable to get that knock up. So
yeah, that was a very good respect flash from Padawan.
yeah, absolutely. And you respect Flash, you live to fight another day, and you actually burned the Flash from Rek'Sai, which is just a little bit of a plus there. So good safe play from Set, and he's gonna live.
I feel like that is one thing that we glazed over in Champ Select, the fact that EGL is subbing in Padawan Tanyo for Gilio. What are our thoughts on them replacing him? I actually have never had to play against Padawan up in the top lane myself.
Yeah, I haven't heard of them, so I'll be interested to see like how the team works with him. Granted, top lane is known as like the island, but especially for like setting up like TP plays and stuff.
And Jarvan actually coming mid, and just a little bit of a counter gank from Rek'Sai there, making sure Zier's not getting jumped on any further. And lane looking a little rough for the Lysandra early. She's very low, and
yeah. I wonder. Are you able to take a look at like the CS numbers for a little bit?
oh yeah, hit O, Hampton.
Okay, so it's actually pretty even in the mid lane. Bot lane's up 5 and top lane's up 5 for EGL. So that's pretty nice.
And as far as the Morgana, Glacial Augment, do you think she's going to rush, like either of the runes or either of the items that let her proc that, or is she still just going to go for an hourglass here? You think?
If it was me with the Glacial Augment, I would probably still rush the Zonias, I think. It's just such a valuable item on Morgana. But otherwise, I could see like shadows.
And yeah, Rek'Sai coming back here.
So it doesn't look like anything's gonna happen, yeah.
Yeah, it just backs off.
But yeah, my issue with like the Glacial Augment on the support is like GOP is such a expensive item for support. It's pretty cheap for Twin Shadows. Yeah, Twin Shadows is pretty cheap. So I could definitely see Morgana getting that after the Zonias.
Looks like we also got a really early Drake coming out of EGL here. We'll see if they can take it safely. Bottom lane just shoved in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they see Rek'Sai show top, threatening that set gank, and the whole team just rotates right away. Very smart play, and you like to see some coordination like that from teams.
Yep. That's the value also of the bottom lane. Bottom lane shoves in, gets Cryo, and Caitlyn and Morgana get to help out do that faster for J4.
Yeah, Kate Morgan just definitely a pretty infamous lane together. Just so strong, they can shove so easily and safely as well. It's definitely a big advantage to have a bot lane that can shove your opponents in, and you get map control that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, gold is still pretty even. Hasn't been anything besides just like the flashes. So, Megan Foxy's flash will be coming up in like 30-40 seconds, and then Padawan and Jig and Jag's flash will still be on the same timer, but they still have like a little over a minute until those flashes come up.
And Azir not letting this Lysandra back yet. Just keeps poking her down.
Flash ult and only the cleanse burned. Oh, actually no, cleanse and flash burned out of Mega Man Zero, so they kind of trade summoner spells there.
And that was Business Flash too.
Yeah, that's actually a 2 for 3.
Yeah, so that's like a double flash for Flash Cleanse. That's definitely a trade that is better on Mega Man. And granted, like Cryptic's flash on Lysandra isn't like as valuable as, let's say, if it was like a Syndra, since Lysandra does have an escape. But for future fights, they're like at like a dragon fight, if they wanted that flash, but it won't be available to them.
Yeah, we're actually seeing a big skirmish here. We're seeing the Orno popped out. He gets the double brittle proc, and Set's going to ult him back, and he's actually going to pick up this solo kill. Very nice from the Set.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to worry about when you're laning against Set. His W is just so strong. He gets such a big shield. Ornn lands everything there, but he just doesn't have the damage to actually burn through, the full health bar plus the W shield, and that's a big pickup for the sub who's playing today.
Yeah.
Big combo onto the. Ooh, it looks like it's just.
Oh, that's a lot of damage though. Yeah, that's definitely showing work. For this bottom lane, they're up 10 CS. That is crazy. But now the mid lane is up like 10 CS as well.
Oh, another binding lands onto Ezreal. Can they capitalize on it? Looks like they'll get the heal out of the Ezreal. No flash though.
Yep, able to arcane shift out, but still a free summon still burn.
And you're seeing just how dangerous this more Caitlyn lane is. If they land a binding, Caitlyn can drop a trap, get a headshot, net back for a second headshot. It's just so much damage if they land, that binding. It's almost a certain death if it's on Ezreal, a huge chunk out of Not. So, definitely looking strong here for the EGL bot lane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like, maybe if the Caitlyn was a little further up or had, more mana, that might have actually been a kill on the Ezreal, but...
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't seem like Bindi was expecting the binding to land, and if Deadpool Gambit would have just arcane shifted immediately. But it did land, so it's pretty solid.
Might be looking for a gank here. He does see the Jarvan.
Yeah, but Jarvan doesn't see the Rek'Sai right now. Where they're
Sets it
located
back
at.
off, and they'll go for the Herald.
Oh, but that ward in the
they took a
bush,
ward there.
we'll see them. So
They're definitely moving over to this.
Yep,
And
Lysandra
Lysandra actually
coming
taking
in.
the claw. You have Set coming down too, so this is definitely
yeah, now
looking
you have
like a fight.
yeah, Mega Man Zero's on the bottom side. He's looking to self stand soldiers and trying to get some damage in. But
Yeah,
Zed is-
posturing around, the Herald's dropping low, Azir's just trying to poke down, but
yeah, it doesn't
who's
seem
gonna-
like either of these teams want to give this up.
Yeah, we have the Ornn
No.
coming out. They actually misses
They
the
missed it on
Ornn
the
charge on
Lysandra.
Lysandra.
Kalen and Morgana are here.
A huge set
And
over here,
wow,
pulling them in, and
oh
a
my
huge
God.
W as well.
That is so big, and you have both of the Lysandra passes. This is so good. Encrypted
Yeah,
gets out alive, and that's the value. Like even just a little bit of pressure of the Caitlyn ulti on if it was Mega Man, but no matter what, it looked like that was EGL Herald to take, setting up the bot lane for that. So and the PTC bot lane isn't even gonna get that much. They might get one plate if they have a demolish proc, but this is huge, and all of a sudden 200, 300 gold lead for EGL turns into 2.1 thousand, 4 kills, and they have the Herald and first pick. This is a very well set up game.
Yeah, we have a gank actually coming bot lane. You have both Jarvan and
Ooh.
Caitlyn taking that plant over, and they're going to pick up the kill on Ezreal here.
Yeah,
Just a little.
Deadpool Gamma just arcane shifts forward, and it was a very smart flash from High. He flashes so that the Deadpool Gambit can't just flash away from the Morgana ultimate, and there's already one plate down. They're gonna drop the Herald to get another 2 plates.
I was actually nervous there. I was like, are they actually going to be able to kill this Herald before it gets the charge? But they do get the charge and the plate money there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that huge fight and over at Herald is kind of set up earlier by Jarvan and Lysandra burning both summoners from his ear, so he's a little nervous walking in. EGL just played it a little smarter. They were more coordinated. You had the Ornn and the Rek'Sai kind of going for the Lysandra, the Azir on the bot side, so they were split.
Yeah, the Ornn ulti missed, which is very crucial because Lysandra lived that at 1 HP or 100 HP. So maybe if they could have landed that Ornn ultimate before, they could have collapsed on Lysandra and killed her, or at least force Lysandra to ulti herself or something. But yeah, there's a lot of small things that were super crucial in making it so that EGL won that fight and didn't have any deaths out of it.
Yeah,
And
and sometimes you feel like plays like that, spill over to other lanes. Bot lane is pushing up because Morgan, or at least Caitlyn, did roam up. She ended up ulting someone by Herald. They want to push up and at least gain some kind of advantage there and, try to force those plates, but then they end up dying, staying too long from, Jarvan coming down right after.
Yeah.
And we have EGL actually posturing around for the second Drake here. This is going to be a Cloud Drake. They got the first Mountain one as well, and this looks uncontested.
Yeah, what's huge about this is because this game is in favor of EGL right now, and it is going to be an Infernal Soul. But taking the Cloud and Mountaineer is either going to be an Infernal Soul or Ocean Soul. But Infernal it'll be, and that'll be really nice because they do have a decent amount of damage with Kalen and the set.
Oh, and Hampton, can you hit X to show gold?
Oh, X, that's right. No. I'm not that hockey.
I'm pretty sure it's X. I think. After you hit O, hit X.
Ah. Yeah.
Perfect. And we're seeing this huge gold lead, top side for the set. He's up 1,700, which is just a massive amount.
Crazy.
And he ended up going, Blade first. You can see a lot of different build paths from set. Blade probably the most common build into Ornn, just, wanting that percent health. It's, lifesteal, it's attack speed. It's everything you would want for set, and definitely the item to build into Ornn.
Yeah, very, very lane dominant item. So, considering he's already so far ahead, the fork will be very good for pushing that lead. I think you had like an 800 gold difference in the bottom lane. Caitlyn already finishing the Infinity Edge, getting that empowered crit off of the headshot and off the 6 autos. So
that is kind of interesting to me that he would rush Infinity Edge over getting like the Storm Razor.
We have a gank bot actually. We have Rek'Sai coming in.
Storm Razor is a very strong item on Caitlyn, getting the one. The bot shield does protect Caitlyn. Okay. Morgana did get the top punch, and that's what Gamble will take him out with the True Shot Barrage. Ezreal does go down though, as you do see everyone else left on the Ornn teleport.
It ends up being a 1 for 3 for EGL, another big teamfight win for them. So this was a really weird setup. We had both Caitlyn and Morgana making an alcove play, just sitting down there. And it looks like PTC knew exactly where they were, so they wanted to get this, gank off with Rek'Sai coming in. Nautilus burns ult on the Caitlyn, but it ends up being black shielded. Caitlyn has a fantastic stopwatch, so she's living through this initial fight as we have TPs coming in from both sides. The Ornn and Set come in, and Set just having this massive lead is able to just storm over this fight, and another big win for EGL.
Gold for the Set currently right now as well.
Yeah, he picks up another 2 kills in that fight.
Yeah, and like Mega Man was on no mana for that fight and wasn't able to do anything. The Sandra was able to roam down first. Yeah, if you see Azir only has Merc Tread for the Sandra, which is really good, and the Stinger. I know what I've been liking to do when I play Azir is go for a Lost Chapter early because Azir can have mana issues. It's not like it's correct or incorrect to do the Stinger because Nash's Tooth is such a strong item on Azir. But it just shows that Mega Man wasn't able to have any relevance in that fight because he had no mana, and now all of a sudden this is almost a 4,000 gold deficit for PTC. EGL is definitely doing a very good job of recognizing their win condition and then playing through that.
Yeah, and we have PTC actually forcing the second Herald. They don't want to give it up, and it looks like they definitely have the chance to take it here, but Lissandra and Set coming down scare them off, and they're actually going to lose this. They're going to leash this Herald down to a 3rd health and just pass over to EGL. They just respect the Set and don't want to take another drastic fight where they lose.
Looks like
I do
appreciate a dive here as well onto the Ornn. We'll see.
Oh yeah.
If they actually
this is so tough for the Ornn. They're going to drop the Herald here. They have Lissandra ult to just...
I wonder if he's able to walk out. Set's on the top side, but you have Lissandra and J4 on the bottom side. I think this is just inevitable.
And Cryptic is tanking this first. Jarvan with the combo.
And he does get the ulti, and the tower dies. Yep, it's another death.
Yeah, just perfectly played.
Another kill. He is
Lissandra. Yeah, Lissandra just taking the tank, and they're going for a fight in the bot lane here. A great hook from Nautilus, and they're going to pick up the kill on
that is a nice 3v2 kill, yeah.
We have flashes coming out to follow the stun. He hits his ult, and Moore's actually going to go down as well from that Mystic shot.
Wow,
so
nice
great 2v2 fight. Yeah, that's when they're down gold. They're really needing some kind of play like that to have something to build on here, and that's a big fight.
Yeah,
perhaps
that'll be really nice.
Feeling a little too confident there. The Ezreal actually just hit a decent little spike by finishing Manamune and having the Sheen finished while the Caitlyn's just kind of sitting on that Kershai Shard and Agility Cloak after the IE, which is in. I mean, it's very strong that he has the IE, but like I feel like the Kershai Shard and Agility Cloak just weren't gonna do as much.
Yeah.
What are
Especially
your thoughts on these Swifty boots that we're seeing from Caitlyn?
I actually totally glazed over that. I mean,
so I talked to Vindy about this. He likes them a lot because he got buffed somehow. I still think the attack speed is just like way too strong for Flickers, but it's not like the worst thing in the world because Caitlyn builds. I think Caitlyn builds like double attack speed item, which just means that like if you're building more base move speed, then the percent move speed that Zeal gives you will be a lot higher, and it definitely could be a trend next patch in which all the Zeal items are getting even more percent move speed. But yeah, I think it's just too valuable.
Set coming in.
Yeah, a lot of good poke going on the Lysandra, but Set coming in, he pulls in the Nautilus, a big W, and Jarvan's there to follow up. They end up taking down Nautilus here. And again, another turn for EGL where, you know, it looks like a play that PTC is going for as you're landing just a bunch of poke onto the Lysandra, but
Yeah,
EGL just, you know, is there to counter.
yeah, that's very good at communication to be able to collapse on that. Because I like it that PTC are like actively making plays, because that's like an issue that like people could think is like, oh my gosh, we're down 5,000 gold, like, and then all of a sudden they don't know like how to make plays, but they are actively going for plays. Unfortunately though, EGL is very quick to respond, and they're doing a very good job of capitalizing their lead when Set is on Fort Cleaver Gold, and yeah, they're up a lot.
And just to play a little bit of catch up, during all of that, EGL did take the third Drake. It was an Infernal, so it is Infernal Soul this game. A really brutal soul to play against. So, you know, this huge lead that they have, PTC really is going to have to fight for that last Drake, because I don't know if they can come back from an Infernal Soul given over. Caitlyn did knock down that tier 1 tower in the bot as well, so we have the bot lanes going mid now. We see both Ornn and Lysandra bot lane to push waves out with TPs up, and we'll have to see how this mid game goes. It's a big lead for EGL.
Actually, one thing I missed too was the tier 2 top ended up going down, I think, while bottom lane was fighting.
Oh yeah, during when they dropped that Herald. Yep.
Yeah, so you have 3 towers to 1 on the side of EGL, so that's super strong. The other thing that I just noticed is like in the items, you have a Jarvan going Cinderhulk and then Redemption, giving a lot of utility to the rest of the team members, since Jarvan is just 006, but like Set is like 7-0. And then even though all of the 80 champions on EGL are very strong, Deadpool Gambit did end up going the Utility Force instead of the Ice Force Gauntlet. Just realizing that, you know, he has the majority of the gold on PTC, so he should be attempting to do like a bunch of damage. So having that Trinity Force to do all that values that over the armor.
Yeah, I feel like that's really a sign of, hey, he's the one with the gold, he's the one that has to deal the damage, and, you know, going Frozen Gauntlet, it's definitely nice, but it might just not be enough damage here in this fight, or in this game, just with how behind they are. We'll have to see what Ornn items we end up seeing come out. So Ornn rushing Sunfire, which is pretty standard, and a big hook on the Caitlyn, but just like we've seen all game long, Morgana's able to Black Shield, and there's another member to actually follow up there with Jarvan coming in to secure that kill.
Yeah, the thing is, like, PTC didn't even have that many people there. It was literally just Azul and Nautilus, and none of their other champs like Jig and Jag or Mega Man or Megan Fox were able to pass on that. So they pretty much attack it. And you do see the let's say the Dark Binding did land on Deadpool Gambit along with the Ace in the Hole from Caitlyn. And they have to sack that tier 1 tower mid lane, which just gives them so much room to play around.
Yeah, and they're just so ahead. You know, they're able to get these, you know, scary moments on for the members of PTC. Ornn burns ult, trying to disengage, and, you know, just more map control gained from EGL, and, you know, the lead's just building. But yeah, kind of like you said, that's such an unnecessary play to force. That not hook mid. It's a 2v2. You guys aren't necessarily ahead. Ezreal is your strongest member, but in almost every single scenario there, like even if you land that Nautilus hook, Morgana's always going to black shield the Caitlyn, so anything that you do afterwards isn't going to follow up on her. And it's almost a play that there's really no advantage there to gain, but he's still going for it.
It's not worth the risk.
That's
the reward
here to get his mana immune stack. There it goes. Finally,
Yep,
and
it's done.
Oh, and set going in, he actually gets hooked. He's dropped pretty low, a massive W.
Jay goes down. You got the Lissandra teleporting in. And
a very split fight from PTC. You have Azir and Not on the top side. You have Ezreal and Ornn on the bot side. Ornn does not have ult up for this, but you have Ezreal and Azir poke if they can try to force him off the soul. This is the game-deciding dragon. And EGL's taking it slow. They really want to find out where do we go here. Do we force on the top side, which they're going to go on? And they are so low. They catch Not out on the top side, but you still have Azir and Ezreal on the bot side poking with Ornn.
But Mega Man is so low now. There's like almost no way that they...
Ornn comes through. He doesn't knock up anyone other than the Lissandra and Azir and Ezreal just are nowhere near to get that poke off. They are so low, but they're actually going to be able to secure this dragon, it looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, and a miss smite, but Lissandra ends up picking up the dragon. Oh, that was very close.
Yeah, especially with the Mystic Strike coming in. But yeah, so this is definitely set up for success for EGL. They're up 7,000 gold at this point. It's online. That is actually like very brutal because Mega Man is down for 40 seconds with no teleport. EGL can literally just go for the Baron right now.
That just seems like a bit of tilt.
Yeah.
I'm just so surprised they didn't force that, fight at Dragon where Ezreal and Azir just back off. Like, this is almost the game-deciding Drake. Like, if you give over Soul here, I just don't see a world where you come back from that. And, Ezreal, was close to half health, plenty of mana. His Q would have killed probably 3 different members on EGL's side, and it's unfortunate to see him back away from that. I know that you want to play safe, and but trying to scale against an Infernal Soul where they have this much map control, they're going to be able to force Baron. It's tough to see, and it's almost impossible to come back from. So I would have liked to see them fight for that. And
almost
what I was thinking about. What I was thinking is like the only way that like PTC can still win this game is if they get to like 6 items somehow. But considering that Mega Man and Deadpool Gambit are only on 2 items at 5 minutes. Like, they've been so starved of gold this entire game. And the EGL is doing very good at pushing their lead. They're not wasting any time. They're going on the Baron right now.
They have so many zoning tools, too. They have Morgana to have people watch out for bindings. You have Lissandra who can go in and, decide to help an enemy or herself. And
you have the Caitlyn traps, like, completely zoning off that corridor.
Yep. So it's just so tough for PTC to get in, from a specific angle. They see all these traps, they can't really walk over that, so they might have to go around. And it's really up to EGL on what they want to do. They don't have to force Baron here. They can, push lanes. They have Infernal Soul. They can play for Elder, because if you force a 5v5 over Elder and you're going to win, you have Infernal Soul. So it almost comes down to a steal or a perfect team fight from PTC to avoid that.
Yeah, kind of need to do some like stream and shuffle stuff from Mega Man if you can catch out like a bunch of people. But I don't think there's any besides Rainbow Vest from Megan Fox. There's no like Grievous Wounds for like the set or for even like Lissandra has like a little bit, but especially like the set having 700 gold bounty, 8-2 with the CS lead. He's just so far ahead. So even if they get like a big mage
setting up a play down here, they're hovering the set, thinking if they want to try to get that shut down, it'll be there for the counter, but they're actually just going to back off here.
Although that does give up Baron control, so I think that they're going to get all their wards cleared out here by PTC.
Yeah, a little bit of a strange play. There's really not much down here for them to do, so it's it's weird to see so many members come down to hover set who is really fine, in this lane. He's just so far ahead, there's nothing to worry about unless multiple come down, and I feel like it would take Ornn, and it would probably take either Ezreal or Azir and maybe a third member. Like Ornn, a damage dealer, and maybe Rek'Sai or not for some CC to be able to kill them. And if that many people go down bot, you can just take Baron.
Kind of
Yep,
You just see all
exactly.
of them hover there.
after committing all those members as well, when they went into the Baron pit to clear, they didn't actually like place any wards down. The only ward was the pink right here that just got cleared, so it's actually not that much pressure given up because they didn't capitalize
Yeah.
on it. Oh, big engage.
Oh.
There's a pick. Rek'Sai goes
Yep.
down.
That's the value of the vision.
Yep,
And now
you
it's
set
right
up,
on PTC.
yeah, they just set up full control. They just Lissandra ult the Rek'Sai, and there's nothing you can do from there. Just too much damage. And this is going to be a free Baron. There's really no way to contest this. Ezreal coming in, but not going to be able to pick up the Miracle Steal. I love the redemption from Jarvan. That I feel like that's kind of a Viz special. I've seen him do that multiple times.
The Guardian
Yeah.
Jarvan with redemption. Yeah. 10 assists, no kills. That is a full support jungle Jarvan right there.
Yeah, and then he's probably just gonna get a stone plate then with that Megatron. So he's just gonna be super tanky, helping out the team a lot. Because that's also a Knight's Vow on him too. I think he has that on Vindy, I believe. But helping out the team so much.
Yeah, just full support Jarvan, you know, and why not? You have a humongous set, you have a big Caitlyn as well, and you have a Morgana to not only follow up with some more support with the Black Shield. There's just really no way for them to contest any of these fights. I just feel like there's, you know, really just a matter of time until we see them make this full push. I don't know if they're going to wait for Elder or if they're just going to, you know, push in with Baron, and we'll have to see.
No, there's also that.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to do like a 1v1. You got Lissandra in the top lane, she has teleport. The set is in the bot lane as well with teleport. So it is super hard to shove. Like shove back as PTC against all three of these Baron empowered lanes. And then they instantly go from the mid push to the Elder Dragon, which will be spawning in a couple seconds. So
And here's
If-
the Elder. We'll
if
see
PTC
what
can't
happens.
steal this, then it almost seems inevitable.
Man, you have Lissandra in the top lane. You have Set and Ornn just skirmishing down here. Ornn is not going to win that. An unfortunate E gets pulled back in, and that's half his health bar already. Lissandra's still pushing in the top side alone,
Yeah, he has like at least one cannon, maybe two.
and she has Baron buff. I mean, they do not
Yeah,
even
they're
have to do
literally
this
taking
Elder.
an
They just
inhibitor,
have to
like,
wait. They just have to
needs
sit
make
here.
a
And
decision.
Ornn going back.
Yep.
It's an inhibitor down, and they are starting this Elder. It's, you know, at 2/3 health, and you know PTC rotates to the stop
They
side
have
of the
to do something,
Dragon.
like right now. You have to get like a stream shuffle, hitting a bunch of people.
And this is tough. You don't have Ornn, who is one of your main forms of engage. You either
But
have to save-
Rek'Sai's not even there. He's still just like.
He's playing for a
like-
steal while the other three are kind of looking at some way
And
of
now they're
actually
just looking
fighting.
at.
They're seeing a
ending the
TP
game.
in the base. You have Set TPing in while
So now-
Lissandra's
yeah.
there pushing.
Now they really
And
need to make a decision.
Ornn has no way of stopping this. Meanwhile, they actually fight at the Dragon where they pick up some kills, and this
Yeah,
is looking like the
India.
game.
So strong. Yep.
A real, real fiesta at the end here.
Yeah.
EGL putting them in a tough spot where, you know, PTC has to choose between defending base and holding Elder, while
Yeah.
Ornn can't hold Soul versus Baron minions, and you know that leads to the end.
Yep. Yeah. Good game one from EGL. They recognize their win condition. They pick a very strong battle line to get Dragon control, and that's what they did. Very good team play, and for Pato Antonio, being the new guy here, he did very well for himself. 802 with 230 CS almost, showing that he used his gold advantage very well.
Yeah, just, you know, they got such humongous leads from, you know, that initial Herald fight. You know, that really was, I feel like, really what set the ball rolling here. You know, Set picking up, you know, a couple kills there, and you know, it was
Yeah.
kind of, you know, onto the races from there. He just kept building up advantages. So
Yeah.
Yeah, great skirmishing from EGL. They were able to set up where they burned crucial summoners on, both sides. They burned an early flash from Ornn top. They burned flash and cleanse from the Azir mid early. They had a better position around Herald for that first fight, and that's how you gain leads.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
really
props to the bot lane
interesting
as well.
how they brought in a sub for Gilio, and he just did actually so well in this game. But yeah, honestly, the bot lane kind of dominated the entire time too. They had dragon control the entire game. I mean, most damage in the game on the Caitlyn, I believe, too.
Yeah, and kind of shows because like EGL like won the coin flip. They chose the red side, got the good counter pick. Um, matchup. They got a good matchup for Cryptic. Something that can very just well influence the team. Uh, set still being shown that he's a very powerful pick on this patch. So we'll have to see now how the next game on the teams, especially for PTC, adapt in their draft. If PTC wants to stay on the blue side, or if they want to go on the red side and get some counter picks, or yeah, what they want to ban, because just like last weekend, when Hamilton Fire Nation played and Fire Nation banned like Caitlyn like both games. Like Caitlyn did a lot of work this game. It was um, really nice for EGL to have a lot of dominance in that bottom lane.
I do forget how pick ban went, but was the Ezreal picked into the Caitlyn? Do you remember?
I'm pretty sure it was first pick.
It was first
Nautilus?
pick Nautilus.
Yep.
They picked Morgana Jarvan.
Yep,
And then I believe
Oh,
they
and then
picked
the Ezreal got
Ezreal,
picked.
and then they picked Ezreal Rek'Sai. So he picked Ezreal
Yeah.
into he picked Ezreal first.
Blind. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
and then,
so
and then Caitlyn was third. Yeah.
personally, being the AD carry for THE, I feel like Caitlyn into Ezreal is like a excellent matchup for the Caitlyn. Ezreal really doesn't have like many options in the lane against Caitlyn because she's always gonna have push on him, and if you like kind of keep him under tower and sit there and just like smack down plates and set traps down, and the Morg like helps you push with her pool and constantly threading, hitting like bindings if your minion wave's not there too. Ezreal just really struggles, and then like he also didn't really have like a great, I feel like, support matched up with him. Like when I think of like what Nautilus wants to do as a champion and what Ezreal wants to do as a champion, it's like two completely different things. And obviously Nautilus, as the game continues on, can be more useful by looking for engages and stuff like that. I just feel like in terms of the laning phase, when you have such a strong duo in the Caitlyn Morgana, to opt into like an Ezreal Nautilus lane and not something a little bit stronger or something that could possibly have played into the Caitlyn. I mean, obviously it was blind pick, but like personally, I would have rather done something more aggressive with the Nautilus pick, and it actually possibly could have matched up into a Caitlyn Morgana lane.
Yeah.
And we talked about this right at the beginning of Champ Select too. If you're looking at playing Nautilus, like do you ban Morgana? And we talked about how PTC was comfortable leaving Morg up, first picking Nautilus, and EGL instantly picks Morgana into it. That really seems to be the counter pick into him. You have a very safe lane. Anyone that Nautilus ends up going on, you can Black Shield to stop any further CC from it. And not only did they give up the Morgana, they gave up the Caitlyn Morgana combo, and were totally fine going into it. So, we'll have to see if they how they adjust their pick and ban. I'm assuming we're definitely going to see a little bit of an adjustment there on whether or not it's different picks or different bans. We'll see something different, I'm quite sure.
Do we know what Deadpool Gambit's champion pool is? Is Ezreal like a really big pick for him? I know in his
He really likes it. Yeah.
yeah, I know like when I looked at his OPGG for solo queue, he had like a lot of Aphelios and stuff played, and I know Aphelios got like a huge nerf, but
Yeah, we haven't seen Aphelios for a long time. I know last week's game there was no priority on Aphelios. But I've seen him play like almost everything. Like I feel like I don't know. In my eyes, I think like Varus is like a super strong champion and also has like lane dominance. So it's a lot to like blind pick Ezreal and then think you have like a good matchup, and then all of a sudden, like, you're just getting shoved in all the time, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because you think Ezreal's like the safest pick ever, but like when I saw the Morgana pick come in, I was like, oh, they're gonna play Morgana Caitlyn, and it's kind of weird to me that they didn't like suss that out right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because he is safe in almost every matchup, but particularly into Caitlyn, I just feel like he doesn't have a lot
it
of
doesn't matter.
options.
Yeah, exactly. Which is really nice because then Jig and Jag can look at other places in the map that aren't necessarily bot lane. You can look at going top, running that flash really early. You can set up things for a Herald, like they got both Heralds, and then you don't need to like gank bot lane necessarily, but like maybe be there for a counter gank or set up the dragons and stuff since bot lane always have push. So um, yeah, getting that toll when they did like 23, 24 minutes and just super strong because all of a sudden it's late game and your AD carry is just on 2 items and your mid lane is like hardly on 2 items.
All right, and just to wrap that up, I think we're gonna take a quick 5 minute break before the next game to go and grab drinks and kind of let the teams recoup a little bit, maybe rethink their strategy coming into the next game here. So yeah, we'll be back in 5 minutes. All right, and we are back. Should be heading into Champ Select pretty soon here.
Yep. And so it looks like now that we have PTC deciding what side they want to play on, they want to play on the red side. Getting that counter pick, they're okay with giving away something strong early, potentially getting 2 picks right away. So it'll be kind of interesting as the league goes on, like what people decide to take, if they like red side a lot more or not. But
I must not fall.
first fans we see Victor out of EGL. That was something they banned before. Must be a comfort pick, along with Cassidon still. PTC banning Leona, which is still a strong support, and J4, something that Viz plays very well. Definitely causing a lot of pressure on that champion.
And we're seeing the same bans from EGL. I feel like they had a great game plan. Pinch that mid lane where, the Mega Man has to go on maybe a champ that he's not as comfortable on as others, and they ended up saving last pick so they could get a comfort lane and, countered with the Lysandra into Azir. We'll see that, PTC ends up picking red side. So, interesting to see both these teams, when they have side selection, they pick red side, and, they end up deciding what they want to counter pick as that last pick goes. But
yeah, especially because even though Mega Man plays Azir well, Azir isn't a playmaking champion, so it was super good for them to realize that and ban things like Syndra, Zoe, things that can make picks happen. And EGL just really like the set from last game, and if they're gonna leave it up, then they're just gonna grab it right away.
Wow, it looks like we're seeing a big change already in bans and top lane, with the Echo ban coming in, which is kind of interesting, dropping the Swain ban, and then the Aatrox pick and Nunu lock in right away for PTC. So it is definitely going to be massively different on their side.
Yeah, I'm actually very excited to see this Nunu, because I think Nunu is a hilarious champion, and definitely fun to see something new in comparison to what we've seen so far from the games. So
I'll be honest. From my experience from playing against PTC, this used to be their number one priority jungler, and I kind of like it because it gives a lot of room for a Jig and Jag to work with the neutral objectives. The way that I've been seeing teams win and stuff is playing around the Dragon and the Dragon and Herald, and so all of a sudden you're just landing at 5 minutes, and then Nunu takes the Dragon. So definitely because it's a pocket pick for them, that maybe EGL doesn't have as good of experience against it. But I mean, they still have the Morgana up, and that's what they pick, so that'll definitely help against the Nunu. You can't just randomly knock up
it is. Oh, there's the Aphelios. It is interesting to see that they didn't lock in the Caitlyn Morgana right away there. Right. They must be nervous about maybe the champion pool for Viz getting banned out, having already 2 jungle bans on him already. But then that gives the opportunity for PTC to ban out the Caitlyn so they don't get to run the same bottom lane again. And I had just mentioned, they don't have that Aphelios pick too, so I already think that that's a much stronger laner for them as well.
Yeah, I actually really don't like that, how they picked the Sejuani instead of the Caitlyn, because I feel the jungle champs that are left, there's not that much variance from them. But Caitlyn with the Morgana, in terms of other AD carries, Caitlyn just has so much pressure. So now you're gonna have to see what they decide to prioritize for an AD carry, considering that's the only AD carry that got banned. They banned the Lysandra.
The Swain is completely left up. I will mention that as well. So I don't think that they're going to play the Swain bottom, even though they've shown it before. It seems like kind of a strange champion to put with the Morgana, but I mean, you never know with these guys sometimes.
Yeah.
Shall return.
And then we do see more mid bans, so we see that Azir and Syndra and Lysandra respect ban, it looks like, not wanting to play against that again. We'll see if they decide to hold last pick for their mid, which I am assuming they're going to, and they'll probably pick support here.
If they do, oh, Lulu and Aphelios
wow,
actually should
Lulu.
be really strong as the game continues on. But I feel like not picking the mid laner there is also a bit strange because now potentially Cryptic could take another champion away from um, Mega Man in the mid lane unless he has
Yeah,
something special in mind. But I mean, right off the bat, I'm thinking like Corki. I mean, what else is really left up outside of that? I
yeah.
mean,
You have like Corki, Orianna, and Rise. I know Mega Man definitely likes to play like any of those champions. I think Corki is super strong with the like dragon objective. And considering that you already have Nunu, I think if EGL doesn't pick Corki right here, then EGL should definitely pick it. They'll have so much control over the dragons then.
and the Zoe lock-in. That was actually another pick that we kind of glazed over too. So I also did overhear that that's one of Cryptic's favorite champions to play too. So kind of surprising that it made it all the way to the bottom of pick ban, and I think it's also a big Mega Man champion as well. So kind of weird, like I said, that they didn't grab another mid laner for Mega Man before locking in the Lulu. But then he will pick the Orianna. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Orianna is like a very even matchup for the Zoe. What is nice about the Orianna is like if the Zoe ever jumps forward, you know exactly where she's going back to. So the Shockwave is pretty easy. Um, yeah, I think this game is like pretty even lanes. Besides like the top lane being like pretty swingy, I feel like whoever gets ahead in that matchup can just steamroll. What do you think, Bearsan?
It's tough to say. As far as Aatrox, I feel like he's a very strong laner, but not into Set. I feel like Set has so many ways that he can like interrupt. Once he hits 6, obviously, where he can stop Aatrox from getting his combos on with sweet spots. It's pretty tough.
Okay.
I think Aatrox is probably going to have to force the issue early on, and it can definitely be tough to force it. I think I do like the Set lane here, just based on how he played last game as well. He seems very comfortable on Set,
Yep.
but we'll have to see if Megan Foxy can force that issue early.
All right.
Yeah.
I actually do have one more interview ready and set up. This one is actually with EGL's Cryptic in the mid lane. So we'll see his thoughts on this game coming into it as well here. In general, how do you feel about today's game?
So PTC is the team that we scrim the most. So one of the things I'm super interested in seeing is how scrim results, or how scrim play transitions into more of a safer, more competitive game, because usually players will make a lot more mistakes and make a lot more greedy plays in scrims. But this is game day. This is competition. I know me personally, I play a lot better. I play with a different mindset going in. But I'm interested to see how the rest of both teams kind of make that transition.
Yeah, and actually to elaborate on what you were just talking about there, another point I had written down here was I overheard that your scrim results would say that it is EGL favored. How do you feel about that coming into the game? It is quite close. I think I heard it's like an 8-5 record in best ofs, but nevertheless, it still is favored for you guys.
Yeah, I think I'm not saying that our team is like cheesing by any means. It's more we're very flexible in our picks. I think out of all the mid laners in the circuit, I have the largest champ pool. But I also think that in the champions that all the other mid laners, play, they're better than me at them. So it's hard to match up with everyone else's styles. So instead, we reinvent ourselves a lot to try to take the win. In scrims, we're very loose with how we're playing, and so, like I said earlier, game day, I want to see a more structured, comms, more structured gameplay from both teams, because that'll lead to something that's completely different from our scrim results, which will be interesting.
To elaborate on like maybe the mid lane meta for you, you said that you believe that you have one of the largest champ pools maybe in the league. I think Mega Man probably also has a pretty large champ pool as well, just by looking at his solo queue history and even looking at his history in past tournaments. What do you think like the mid lane meta for the entire league might look like? Do you feel like you and Mega Man are going to be able to like avoid getting banned out in most games or situations?
I think that a lot of teams will target ban Mega Man because he is, in our point of view, the strongest player on the team, and or probably, if not one of the strongest players in the circuit. So I know we struggle with whether to target ban him or leave his champ pool open. It kind of plays a little bit of a mental game if you leave their entire champ pool open.
Alright, and we are back to live. Looks like we just loaded in the game here too as well.
Yep. And the first thing I saw when I saw these champions is Aphelios' Cleanse, which is be really good. You have Morgana, which is a super long CC, and then you have Zoe and Sedge. So it's a good idea from Aphelios since he is so immobile, trying to stay alive, and then Big Lots playing Lulu can help him out.
Yeah, we'll see how they decide to start off here. If we see another 5 point from each team, which initially definitely looks that way.
Yeah, kind of interested what Deadpool Gambit's doing in this bush.
He's just chilling.
Yeah, but you got the good old jungle put a ward down, phase grab super.
It is a bit weird that Gambit isn't 5-pointing. I feel like they would have no idea if they get into the... I guess they did put a ward in the river, but he's just sitting really far back like he's afraid of something. I don't really understand it.
Hampton, can you swap the Morgan, the Ezreal?
Oh, yes.
Anything? Yep.
Weird.
Yeah, and the Ezreal actually has call too.
The typical Vindy first purchase.
Yeah.
Now, I do think Cole is a bit undervalued when it comes to like 80 carry purchases. Although, I don't know, when I'm looking at like Aphelios and Lulu and being on the Ezreal, it's basically saying I'm just not even going to play lane at all, which, I don't know. I haven't played against a lot of Aphelios because I wasn't playing the game as much when he was like broken. And I was also permabanning him at the time too, and I would play. So
well, I was the same way.
Yeah, so the
a lot of
matchup
people were the same way.
I can't comment on like very much. So it's like hard for me to say whether the call is actually worth it or not. I would say situationally, like call is definitely like a viable option for first buy on Ezreal, but when it comes to Aphelios, I can't say 100% how I feel on it.
Yeah,
I feel like the thought process is, just farm up. They're not trying to necessarily fight or get any early skirmishes down there, unless they have numbers, and hopefully you'll be able to get a little bit of a gold advantage out of it. Which is interesting because Aphelios, he always starts with his sniper rifle, and then he'll be able to poke a little bit, but we'll see if he can get an advantage or not from it.
Not a whole lot going
pretty-
on in
yeah,
the
right.
game here.
right away though, you see a pretty big top lane CS gap. Like, that only has like 4 CS in that lane right now.
Just like take a look at where the lane situation is. Yeah, he's just straight up missing it. Seems like he's getting bullied too. Level 3 all in.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
He is
He's
getting
down
a
level. You have
gank.
Sejuani roaming
Oh,
up.
but now you have Megan Foxy here, but Megan Foxy's already procced the conquest. But
He
you
just
get that
goes
quick.
down.
Yeah, it's super easy in that lane when Sedge comes to proc the Sedge passive, get the point and clicks done.
I
Yeah,
think-
Sedge gets a faster clear than the Nunu, interesting enough, and
Yeah, I
she's able to roam up there for a quick level 3 gank and gets the kill.
Yeah, I really think that's just a big punish on like the jungle difference there. Like Nunu decided to do a full bottom side clear before heading into his top side and doing his red buff finally. So like the way Sejuani cleared was he went straight from like red raptors, wolf then blue then top, and then like the Nunu did It's Gromp and went all the way up to top.
Oh, and Aphelios flashing forward for this kill, but he's just short. He does burn the heal from Ezreal, but yeah, Ezreal actually lives, keeps his flash. You know, he has the respect to hold on to it, and
So yeah, it's good value right now, but EGL could definitely punish no flash, no cleanse on Deadpool Gambit. But they do get the play for it. Yep. Yeah, that's what I was like.
Camp as well here too.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Krugs have a lot of experience. That was something I was like a little worried about. Like something that you can definitely see, especially in like the lower like elo teams, I guess, like this league, is that if you lose game 1, then you like get really nervous, and then you like hold like comfort only. And like Aphelios is like something that like Deadpool Game like plays a lot of.
Doesn't pan out though. I mean, I'm surprised because I'm pretty sure you can turn that snowball completely around unless it was like max.
oh, he actually gonna walk
warded.
into him. Setch is there for the counter gank though, and burns the flash from Nunu.
Seems like the Sedge is just always there at the right time for his laners so far in this game.
Yeah, Viz is only 5 minutes in. Viz has been playing this game very well.
Oh, big invade too on this Nunu. Burns the smite. He might get a solo kill here. Actually, I don't think Nunu can do anything. And big solo kill out of the Sejuani. He's just dominating this game in the matchup.
That's crazy.
Just great pathing. You know, he knows that that top or the bot side isn't cleared because that's what Nunu started, and you know he sees him walk up there just from that counter gank and assumes that he's going to be there. He's able to invade and pick up the kill, and he's actually going to get a Gromp as well on top of it.
Yeah, especially with Mega Man not having any health and mana, it's not like he can like collapse on it. So there's no like fear in Viz going for that. Like he had the flash advantage. Very good read on the advantage that he had and capitalized on it.
Nice pull-in from Set. You know, it's interesting. He buys Executioners first, and this is actually looking pretty good for Aatrox. He gets a pull back on his W, and he's just going to be short damage-wise. Not enough time for one more auto.
Yeah, and even though we commented that Padawan was like down a lot of CS, he caught up completely now. He's has a wave in a good spot. Nunu is caught up on the ward, and I will be bouncing back at him, but really interesting. Bot lane or top lane had an advantage on PTC, but now it's back even, and it's an entire 1,000 gold lead at 6.5 minute advantage for EGL.
And we're seeing Aatrox actually opt in to stay. He's pretty low. We'll see if anything comes from him. You know, not backing there. He does a TP up, so he can always TP back.
Yep.
But
yeah, just I'm struggling to see this Nunu doing a whole lot right now as EGL starts up the dragon as well. It could possibly be answered, but it just won't be.
Yeah,
they had no wards to see that they had even started, so I don't think they had any knowledge of EGL doing it at all.
Yeah, that is good. Good game sense from Viz, and good from the side lanes or from mid and bot as well. Yeah, that is a super high value ward. That bush does not get checked enough, especially in the early game.
Yeah, EGL just looking really strong. You know, on both of these early games, they're able to, you know, pick up big advantages from Viz having really good pathing and knowing where to be at the right time, and they're able to pick up dragons, you know, both early games. So a good solid lead for EGL here.
Wow, flash shot of the Aatrox. Must be a respect flash since the set was level 7 and had his ultimate ready.
Yeah, and that, you know, that's just one of those things. You know, you're so low, you want to stay because you want to eke out any advantage that you can from the early death. You know, you want to be able to catch back up, but because he's a little greedy, he decides to stay and you know, wants to be as efficient as possible, but he ends up, you know, burning flash for it. He does catch Set here though, but not much he's going to be able to do, just delay the back.
Big gank coming in for Nunu. Let's see if he can even get anything. I mean, Spell Shield comes in.
Black Shield is going to get everything.
They also have TP advantage on top lane currently, so we'll see if maybe they can do anything with that. Maybe set up a dive on bottom since they have a Pretty deep ward right here, and you can see that these guys are also going to be pushing in. As long as they don't greed, they should be able to recall safely, but we'll see.
Yeah, execution would be a very good um, item to get if you're setting up that bot lane.
We have this invade here. Sedge going for the red buff. Nunu's there to counter it. It looks
yeah,
like
Nunu does grab
pick
it.
up.
Yep.
Oh, it's the flash out of the
flash. You have Orianna right there, so.
A little bit of overconfidence out of Viz there, thinking he can go in when I didn't think he really had any mid lane or top lane priority in particular to go for such an aggressive play.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, wanted to get that red buff steal and get out cleanly, but Nunu ends up being able to secure it in. Viz loses the flash on Sedge.
Yeah. And
You
this
can just see
bottom
the
lane,
Bottom lane, yeah, I was just about to comment on
20
that too.
CS? That is ridiculous. They are really comfortable with these champions, and they're pushing it into the bottom lane of EGL. So, what was a huge advantage for EGL 3 minutes ago? They were up 1,000 gold. Is really negated now. It's a tie ball game.
I think that's a problem with the Ezreal pick. I think a lot of people like to default to it, especially. I think it's going to be a big pick in this league, but there are counters. I think a lot of people just think that there's no way that you can like lose super hard on the Ezreal, but I mean, champs like Aphelios, when he's got like his, I forget what it's called, I think it's Infernum gun, is always going to just be shoving you under tower, kind of similar to the Caitlyn, and making you miss a lot of creeps while you're sitting under tower, and they're going to have priority. I think the reason why you haven't seen as big of an advantage from it, like maybe converting the pressure into a drag, is because Viz has been really out jungling the Nunu so far this game, but maybe it'll turn.
Yeah, because they're already up. Like, what is it? It's like 20 CS. They have 2 plates now, and I don't think Vindy has.
Oh, and this is a big ult from Aphelios. He's not going to be able to get the damage onto the Morgue, which might have been a kill if he did.
Yeah, I just think he should have aimed it like at the Morgan.
Yeah, you know, aimed at the Morgue instead of the Ezreal there.
Because that like would have like burned Flash.
Yeah, we actually see EGL picking up the Rift Herald while, you know, all that fight going down in the bot lane, and that's another objective over to the side of EGL. I'm curious to see where he'll decide to, you know, put this Herald. You know, really could go with any 3 of the lanes here. He might want to look bot side just to try to help out this Ezreal lane, but we'll have to see.
We do see Dragon coming up, and I wish I had a timer for it, but I think it's close to a minute now. So should be seeing teams set up for that. We saw an early recall out of the Aphelios picking up an Essence Reaver, and now we'll see another recall out of Vindy and Pai. I would say huge power spike for the Aphelios on the Essence Reaver, while Ezreal is just sitting on tier, pickaxe, and a longsword and boots. So there's definitely a lot more power in terms of the AD carries on the bottom side.
Yeah, this dragon is about to spawn, and Vindy does not have his call finished out to cash in that that fat gold that you get from it. So this definitely could go in the way of PTC if they set up proper support. If they can get the lane shoving, you have Orianna getting
yeah, we actually have Nunu starting this Dragon. You know, it looks like Zoe has the push mid, but PTC's bot lane does have the push there, and Nunu has this Dragon at half health here.
Yep, and now Zoe is cheers, so they definitely have eyes on it, but it's very low, and it's Dragon. You hit the jump jam and Nunu, and they're looking to collapse on him. The Nunu ult comes in, or the Sejuani ult comes in, and then Nunu does fall with a flash up. I mean, not sure what you could do. Like, good Larry, you got the Drowsy into the Sedge ulti.
Yeah, he pretty much had to flash the Drowsy if he had any chance of living there, but even if he does, there's always a chance, you know, depending on how he flashed, maybe they could still catch him with the Sedge ult, you know.
Yeah.
Tough to say. He did, you know, he was able to secure the Dragon, which is definitely good. You know, it's pretty hard to take objectives away from Nunu in a smite fight, but a good pickup from PTC. They do lose Nunu, but at the end of the day, you know, they're able to pick up a Cloud Drake, which will definitely help.
And that does play on what I was talking about earlier with the bottom lane too. They did finally convert some of that bottom lane pressure into an objective. They also have 2 plating over the opposing bottom lane too. Honestly, I think that play would have gone a lot better if Orianna would have just followed the roam down bottom lane. I don't know if he was afraid of getting picked off by the Zoe while he was roaming down, but I really feel like he should have figured out a way to answer instead of just standing mid like he did.
Yeah, tough to say. They did have that ward mid side, in that lane down towards Dragon. So, Zoe and Sedge were on that top side of, the Dragon pit. So if he does roam down, he kind of has to take the long way around to help. But yeah, I agree. We've seen a lot more activity from, Cryptic here in mid lane versus Mega Man, and that's definitely paying off for him.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, Cryptic and Viz are here looking to dive because they see the Nunu here get the Nunu flash immediately for free. Another good small advantage for EGL.
Big binding lands. Could this be an all-in?
Yep.
No. Honestly, Aphelios just too strong with the Lulu there to really convert on it.
Yeah, Lulu negating a lot of that damage with the Emax shield of Lulu.
Yeah, they do drop the Herald mid, so it looks like they wanted to get some kind of pressure there, but they didn't get any plates. They actually dropped it after 14 minutes, so that's a little bit of a mishap here. A good shockwave from Mega Man onto Zoe. He's going to flash forward, actually.
Yeah, forces the flash. Oh, but Mega Man, yeah, Cleanse flashes forward for it.
Oh, and Sedge is actually here to fight a little bit, but he's just going to back off. No easy way for Zoe to join in. He's so low.
Yeah, I don't like that from Mega Man. Like, you got a flash out of him, and Zoe just runs so fast. Like, it didn't seem like there was any way that Oriana was going to catch him. But
yeah, a small advantage gained, but then given back over with the misplay for the flash forward, trying to get that kill.
Yeah.
And with everything going on bottom lane, or not bottom lane, top lane has just been kind of an island ever since the gank at level, what was that, level 3 for Sejuani? Very early on, so they were almost completely even in CS. The TP advantage I was talking about earlier doesn't really exist anymore. I think they both have teleport up.
Oh, and a big binding out of Aphelios here. He's so low. He gets that Lulu ult, and he's actually going to be able to make it out here. We'll see.
Nope.
A flash forward from the Ezreal. And he is actually going to pick this up.
Oh, but it's a lot of damage.
An actual double
yeah,
kill.
Vinny just gets a double kill.
Yeah, we have a teleport coming in. The Aatrox ult so fast, huge. He's going to pick up a double here. Maybe Morg does flash away, but he follows it with that W. He's able to secure a big double kill for a pretty big spike here. Nunu, meanwhile, it's top covering the tower, so they're not going to give up a lot of pressure there. And actually, Set's going to force him off the tower.
Yeah, and now PTC does get this first tower, so good advantage from them. Brings the gold back to even.
Yeah, big pickup from Aatrox to TP down. He gets a huge double kill. He does get a shutdown, I believe, too, on the Ezreal. He was able to pick up first tower even. Set able to answer top side, taking the top tower as well. And, they're near up, but I don't know if they're...
Oh, nice flash by Viz for the engage.
Oh, with the counter gank against here, can they save the double gambit? They cannot.
That was really well played by Viz.
Do they have the Lulu ulti for that?
No, I believe Lulu... Lulu did just ult bot.
No, it just came up. So it was down for 5 seconds.
Really well played from Viz there. He's having a lot of confidence on this Sejuani pick after he gets double banned early on. Seems like when we were talking about champ select and not taking the Caitlyn, maybe the Sejuani is really working out for them. It's been a really big strong point in this match.
Yeah, it's kind of nice because Sejuani just helps out the set so much more. Set has so much gank assist, so then you lead a pullback into Sejuani's fun. So Viz definitely playing around Adelan Tanyo really well since they have that good synergy. But now, this is just like the Herald and they know it was gone, such facing. Looks to be a free Inferno Dragon.
You have a TP coming in, but it looks like it's going to be too late. PTC does secure the Dragon. You have Set going into engage. It looks like Aatrox is pushing off.
Oh, but a huge W from Set there.
Yeah, and they're
he does pick up a kill on
big ult from Set onto the Aatrox, but a little too deep.
Oh, the Shockwave! Shockwave stays. Big loss. And now they're out. So yeah, that looked really bad for
the Aatrox might not be out here though. He is cornered, and what is he going to do? He's able to dodge the binding. Is he going to be able to walk this out?
Yeah, Mega Man can't.
Oh, and
lot
he
of
gets hit with
confidence
the binding,
lands.
and that will do it. Oh, and this is actually so low from that. And you have Nunu coming in here with a huge snowball, but he's not going to follow up on it.
Nunu died at the start of this with Deadpool Gambit, and now they're back in the fight. But it doesn't look like anything's gonna happen. The tower falls, and yeah, I guess that's all she wrote after a very long skirmish, very long fight from the dragon, going all the way up to the bot tower and come out. And what is the gold lead at right now? Then you got almost 3,000, 2.7. Yeah, you got Vindy's up 1,000 gold. You have Mega Man's up 200, I guess.
Yeah, and Viz is up 1,500 in the jungle.
Yeah, he is so much. He is gonna be so hard to deal with, just being so tanky. And it's not gonna be until like Deadpool Gambit gets up 3 items that he'll be able to do like a whole lot.
And these fights are kind of what I was saying. You know, you almost always want to be on the Set side of this matchup. Like in that fight, you know, Set's able to just walk in. He just gets so tanky from his W. He can stun people with his E. You know, Aatrox was kind of trying to hold off the Zoe on the bot side of that fight, and you know, Set is just such a massive force in these skirmishes that he's kind of almost winning these fights on his own. We'll have to see if this continues. He once again with the Blade of the Ruin King first buy, which definitely seems like the buy for Set. It's everything you want on him. I expect Aatrox to go Death's Dance next after he finished Cleaver. That's probably the most common Aatrox build. You really want as much CDR as you want, and that also gives you life steal and you know, obviously the Death Dance passive where you know you don't take as much damage right away. But yeah, just you know, big fights from Set, and you know Aatrox is going to have to hopefully follow up on that too.
I think another point to make here too, just the way this game has been playing out. I thought the bottom lane for PTC was a really big point of contention for them. I feel like they easily could have tipped that matchup over into the PTC side of things and got this Aphelios rolling, but I mean, we see him sitting 0-3-2 now. He still is up 40 CS in the matchup, but it seems like EGL managed to completely alleviate all the pressure that was going on during laning phase for the Ezreal, and now Ezreal has finished his Iceborne Gauntlet, going to be upgrading his mana immune to Mirror Mana hopefully within the next like minute or so, and I think he's actually going to be a lot more powerful than the Aphelios is as well coming in the next fights.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the big thing with the Morgana pickup. Like, you can abuse that lane like all you want, but like you're not gonna like actually get anything unless you like bring a jungle king down. But the Morgana just negates so much of that with the Black Shield and the long season of the binding. It's really difficult to punish that lane.
Yeah, and I wonder if maybe the Nunu pick could have been the issue with that. I feel like there were times where the EGL lane was really low and could have had like some dive potential, maybe if they had like a good deep ward from Aatrox, or maybe a different kind of jungler other than Nunu that could set up dives a lot easier than what he can. He seems like a jungler that just wants to gank lanes and isn't really the best suited to, you know, attacking towers and setting up dives.
I agree. I feel like, you know, picking Nunu, I'm not the most familiar with Nunu, but you almost feel like you really would have rather seen, you know, a more aggressive jungle where you would have gotten a couple more ganks off, or at least some attempts. You know, he does have the 2 dragons secured, which is very nice. You know, they at least have a lead there where, you know, it looks like it is you know, actually another Infernal Soul, funny enough, where if they can, you know, secure another one towards that, that'll be a big advantage. But yeah, you almost feel like you'd rather see a little bit more of an impact on the early game from the Nunu.
Yeah, but it's not like last game where like at this point last game there were EGL was already up 3 dragons to 0, but now PTC has 2 dragons to EGL's 1. So the
oh man, it's Aatrox fighting the Zoe down here.
Gets the flash.
Oh, he gets her very low.
Yeah, and dragon is up right now, is it not? Yeah, the dragon is up. So Cryptic being very low, no flash, no ignite. This could be a very good opportunity to Infernal.
Big engage.
So much damage. That Lulu is so low. Viz with a huge
shockwave.
Oh, the shockwave! Nice! Okay. When Nunu does go down.
Ezreal's looking
Hi-Fi
to
has to put
maybe
the flag.
clean the fight up. With Cryptic here, they got a lot of poke.
Yeah, that little damage throwing out a lot. Cryptic is still alive.
Nice! He picks up a double kill.
Man. Wow. Man, we totally thought that was gonna, like, be a very good fight for PTC, but Cryptic, even though he's at no mana really, and like was at hardly any health at the beginning of that, was able to come up super clutch for them and pick up this Infernal Soul. That is super nice.
Yeah, so they tied the Dragons up 2-2. Really huge fight for them. It looked really PTC favored at the beginning. Nunu was able to hold off, 3 members of EGL on the bot side, while Viz ended up getting a pretty big engage, but it was countered by a fantastic shockwave from Orianna, a good Aphelios after. They were able to pick up 2 quick kills. But yeah, just they were able to kind of poke it out towards the end there, and Zoe picking up that big double kill to secure the Dragon. That's a big turn.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that just spoke to what I was talking about earlier. The Ezreal was getting close to finishing his mirror mana. I'm not sure when exactly that happened during the fight, but I think it happened during the fight, so he got a huge power spike, like right in the middle of it, when he got that completed. And then it just seemed like, even though the big members, like the Set and the Sejuani went down for EGL, it didn't really matter once they started getting poked out of the Dragon area, and everybody was just left so low after the fight.
Yeah, that fight went really long, so Vindy with the Conqueror on Ezreal being able to put out a lot of damage and lifesteal up, so...
Yeah, it makes you wonder if maybe the Aphelios would have not gone Essence Reaver Hurricane, and maybe would have gone like Infinity Edge Hurricane. Maybe he does a little bit more damage or something like that. Was kind of on a knife's edge.
In this game, much closer than the previous one. EGL still has a lead here in gold, about a 3k gold lead, but definitely much closer, more competitive, and they're looking for a play on this setup here. Who does land the snowball, but Set able to just walk away after that. No real way to follow up on that.
Yeah, sets up you give a bad shield, lets him walk out. Look at it, maybe dive Mega Man. Mega Man's holding this tower like decent for the most part, with Nunu backing up, throwing a lot of resources into trying to get this top tower down. But yeah, Megan Fox is just chilling on the bot lane. Will he take down this tier 2? He probably will. There's a fat minion wave, and Set is only getting here in a couple of seconds. So
we do see a trading towers though. I don't know if that's really. I thought they got the top tower. They did not. Yeah, so actually they just pick up a free tower there, so I think there's kind of a macro misplay out of EGL just giving up some free gold.
Yeah, and you have Sedge going on the Aatrox here. He's going to land the stun, but Aatrox is going to be able to just hop over the wall here and walk that out.
Yeah, you still have a 50 CS lead out of Central Gambit, but all those kills that Vindy has, pretty much to get that gold lead, probably up a little bit.
They're going on Aphelios here. Sedge walking up, but doesn't commit. I think that's smart. Not much there in terms of follow-up with his team, so good to walk away from that.
Man,
Maybe he was just hoping to burn a summoner from Aphelios by chance, but his flash was already down.
It is pretty incredible with Ezreal having all these kills, how really he's only realistically up about 400 CS on the Aphelios just from CS alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like that big
and
50 CS lead.
Especially because Vindy went Iceborne Gauntlet. Like, it's not like Deadpool Gambit and Megan Fox are like that strong. Like, yeah, like they're like scary, I guess. But like, Iceborne like doesn't even do that much because you can't slow Nunu if she's in the snowball. So maybe a Trinity Force out of Ezreal would have been a little bit better to give some more damage and push the lead that Vindy had before. But now we got Last Whisper out of
and the 80 carries are just trading in mid. They actually burned Lulu out there for the heal, and a little nervous on him dropping. And Nunu is actually so low here that Binding is actually gonna miss, and Nunu's gonna be able to walk away.
Yeah, that was the Vindy Flash for nothing. Vindy Flash and Cryptic Ignite, and they didn't get anything out of out of Jig and Jag or anything. It was still just the Lulu ulti that was burned prior.
Yeah, Nunu just knew that he was safe. You know, he had flash up. He could have burned it at any time, but he was able to just walk away, saving that summoner. Good play from him. And just looking at these team comps, now that we're in mid game, we're getting pretty close to the end game here, fighting around these objectives. I just feel like EGL definitely has the easier team fight to pull off. Like, they have a lot of forms of CC. They have Sejuani, with her ult and being able to dash in. You have Set with his pull and ult. You have Zoe bubbles. You have Morgana binds. They have so many ways that they can look for picks here. And with a little bit of a fight here, Set and Aatrox going at it.
Felio's coming in as
yeah,
well for
Felio's
backup.
Felio's going in.
The dragon started too. Tanya's going to go
Set
down.
ulting in.
4v5 fight going on.
Set's going to die for this.
And Red Team steals the Inferno
Oh,
Dragon.
Nunu with
the
the
chocolate
steal.
This is really nice. Dragon Back is doing a lot of work in this fight. Cryptic needs to flash out and Sejuani is 1 HP and then Aatrox picks it up. So wow, that's a 4 for 2. Deadpool damage does go down. Had to bring both summoners in that fight, so they can't do the Baron really. But they could definitely shove midwave for tier 2. Maybe Aatrox gets the inhib tower. That is a super good fight, and especially the dragon going down to PTC. Now they are on Infernal Soul Point.
Oh, and he's actually going for this Zoe. She's going to land bubble, but she's going to be ulting right back on top, and this should be a kill. Yep, and
that's a super good shutdown gold.
Not sure what he's thinking there either, because it was just like you mentioned. I mean, they didn't really have a whole lot of Baron pressure, so I feel like he was worried about them maybe starting it. But I feel like if you just stick around the area and stay safe, that there wasn't really a whole lot that they could have done.
Walk away from this morgue. And just a great fight from PTC there. Yeah, I was just saying about how it's going to be tough for them to get in on these fights, but it actually starts with just a duel on that bot side with Aatrox and Set fighting. Felio shows up. They're able to pick up this quick early kill on the Set, while the other 4 members of EGL are actually on Dragon. Nunu strolls out in, gets a steal, and they actually wipe the fight from there. So just a great sequence from PTC. They're on Soul Point now, which is huge. That's definitely going to be really the next big objective, unless they want to do a Baron before that.
Yeah, so now with those kills, with the shutdown that Mega Man got, he does finish the death count, so he is super strong compared to this Zoe, who only has a two and a half items, but Luden's Echo with the Malenomicon done.
Oh, really greedy recall from PryPie. He almost gets caught out there. He still might.
You have Nunu coming in with that snowball.
This is good for PTC. They realize that they're pretty big. I think that's Viz failing the dash with the 20, and with no flash breathing here.
Oh, and they're actually going to be able to pick up the Sejuani kill, it looks like.
Oh, but Deadpool damage sounds super low from that Zoe combo. Can they escort the Felio out?
Good ult away from Zoe to avoid the pullback, but yeah, they get that kill, they get a 1-for-0, and they're going to move on to Baron here.
Yep. Yeah, Set is top, or is battling right now. He doesn't have a teleport. This isn't going down extremely fast, but it is pretty fast. Lulu's going on the outside.
And Set, it looks like Set's not going to TP. They're going to commit to the Baron here. They're actually going to pick it up. They have Nunu, consume and smite. They're definitely going to secure that, and they're just abandoning the Aatrox here. I feel like they could absolutely fight there with no Set, but they're actually just going to walk this out.
Drowsy lands. Oh, gets cleansed.
Oh, gets cleansed out.
Okay.
Yeah,
and while this is happening, Set is still pushing. He's actually going to pick up this inhib.
Yeah,
and he's going to be able to get out.
That's really good for that one. He realized that, he could get the inhibitor as long as they stop the recalls back for a little bit. It is really good, but PTC, as long as they don't lose a big fight, they should be able to get mid-tier 2 and some confidence powers, definitely. Granted that right now they're tied in gold, and they will be up from the Baron pump that they have.
Yeah, so just a couple great sequences from PTC here. They're able to find that lazy recall from the Morgana, which allows Nunu to catch up, and they actually get an engage on the Morg and the Sedge. And as this Cryptic is actually getting caught out.
Yeah, that's the like typical thing of playing Zoe is like if you ever like jump forward, like yeah, that causes a lot of pressure at that moment, but like you jump back and you don't have escape still.
And I think the tough part here is like what Zoe is in red side's top jungle while the other team has Baron. Like what are you doing at that point? Like I just feel like that is a very bad death. You know, she's
Yeah, it's very
trying to get some
preventable.
poke off. Yeah, while Dragon is coming up in the next minute, like that just seems like a big error there, giving over a kill. You're giving up all map pressure here while the other team has Baron, and they're getting this Dragon set up. This is looking great for PTC.
I think
I feel like,
EGL is just kind of making some really bad decisions. I mean, they did kind of make the best out of one by getting that bottom inhibitor, but like it's just like first the Zoe dying, going up to the Baron, and then the lazy recall out of the Morg, and now the Zoe again getting caught out like right before the Dragon spawns.
Oh, and a lot of damage onto Lulu there.
Yeah, but now
And a huge set ult.
yeah they're going for the 50-50 on the Dragon, and who can get it? It goes down to that. That is super huge. There's no Infernal Soul right now.
And Aatrox is trying to solo out the Ezreal on the bot side. He's actually going to pick up the kill. Is he going to heal up here? He gets an auto. He gets another Q, and he is just healing so much.
Oh my god. Okay, Wagana does get the kill, but they do kill Vindy. They have a mid wave. Bot wave is shoving in. They double inhib. They could definitely get the inhibitor, I feel like.
Yeah, huge steal from Zed. That stops him.
That is so huge, yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, still a good fight for PTC. They're able to get a tower off the back end, and yeah, the next thing is really going to be this last Dragon, who Soul goes over to. That's going to be a big deciding factor.
Yeah, and I think Baron should be coming up in like 2.5 minutes now. And it will be about the same time that the Alien Inhibitor comes back up. So that'll be a good relief of pressure from the side of PTC.
This Aphelios is also just getting stronger as the game keeps rolling on too, and he's got the Lulu to support him as well. I do find it really interesting that he puts almost no priority on getting the Infinity Edge. He literally is getting it almost last item, but at least I think he is. I assume that Agility Cloak's probably going to build into an Infinity Edge, but
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't even think that last Whisper was like necessary.
no, I mean they
how much armor is he going into? I mean, we're looking at
like Bramble Vest, here's Arm Guard, and that's it. And then Just Dance, I guess. So it's like a lot of like little bit of armor on everybody. So that definitely could have been like IE, and you could have just like sat on last.
Oh, and he actually just finished IE.
Oh, he just gets it completely. That is a huge spike. And with the Ardent Sensor on Lulu, he's gonna be hitting so hard.
Yeah, we're about to see 200 years. I'm ready for it.
And that's another value out of taking the cleanse. Like you don't need to take the QSS, so it doesn't like delay your power spikes really. Yeah, Deadpool Gambit's sitting really pretty right now. He's up 65 PS.
And EGL is actually pushing up here. They're playing pretty confident. They think they have a strong team fight, which I'd agree on here, but they have to be careful.
Yeah, because Aatrox is starting out the bottom wave, but that is the last wave of super minions. The upcoming wave doesn't have a super in it. So the inhib will be coming up pretty soon. Now, Ezreal does have the entries. That is super interesting.
That is an interesting buy. Oh, and we have Nunu maybe looking to one. He does not. Backs off. Yeah, I actually have no idea why this guy is Leandries. I'm not an 80k or 80 carry player, so I don't know if this makes sense, but I don't think it does. Like, I understand Ezreal does have some AP scaling, but
yeah, if it was me in this situation, I would probably just get a Bloodthirster, to be honest. Like, the only AP item that I like to build is Zhonya's if they have, like, a bunch of armor. But that's only if I'm, like, super far ahead as well.
I think you should have gone, like, maybe some kind of Grievous Wounds, whether it's Morellos or Executioners, because this Aatrox is actually healing so much, and Aatrox has been trying to push the Ezreal out of fights, so...
Yeah, and the Nunu as well.
Yeah.
Nunu does very real amount of healing. So we'll see. The set has teleport, but he can join the fight whenever. The Scuttlecraft does go over to EGL, so that's a good amount of vision going to them right now. But otherwise, it's not a whole lot of vision that PTC have.
And this game is actually going so late. We're about to hit 40 minutes here. Both teams have 3 dragons. There's been a Baron that has fallen. Like, this is absolute late game at its best, and it's going to come down to team fights. Like, who has the better team fight?
Yeah. Deadpool Gambit also just bought another close to agility, sitting at 95% crit. Oh, he is hitting super strong right now. And like with no like real amount of armor besides like Vindy with the Iceborne Goblin has like the 60 armor that gives, I think. Yeah, he's almost doing true damage to a lot of these people.
Oh, and Bubble going towards Aatrox, not gonna land. He's gonna be fine here.
Is this the dragon spawning soon?
Yeah, I think it's about to spawn here. Yep.
Yeah, this is Soul. So you need to look at the positioning. EGL is 5 strong right here.
Oh, and you have Viz going in on the Nunu, but not much there. They're gonna back off.
Yep, Twin Shadows proc for. Aatrox jumped over. Good Nunu ulti.
And you have a stopwatch from Nunu. Guardian Angel popped on the Aatrox. Set gets a humongous ult here and a huge pull.
Yeah, they get the Lulu ulti onto Deadpool Gambit, so they trade the jungler for the top laner. That is huge, and Nunu is not here for this. They can confidently go for this, and
when you have Zoe going in, taking a lot of damage but dealing out just as much.
They're looking to
they're on this dragon.
And Mega Man is super low. Mega Man goes down, and the dragon goes over, so they can literally just look at Baron now with 2 dead. Yeah, Mega Man just overstepping. This is huge. That could have been the fight to just secure EGL the game. They got the Infernal Soul, and they're about to get the Baron. I would assume they have everybody up. Second TP to this, 20 seconds, but Mega Man is down for another 33 seconds and has no teleport, so he has to walk over.
Yeah, maybe some kind of miscommunication.
They have to fight for this.
Oh, and Aatrox actually going in. He gets the Lulu ult. It's humongous, but he just is CC'd. He's not going to have a way of healing at all. And
now here this set.
Set coming in, just getting a double pull. Ezreal cleaning up those kills.
Yeah. At this point,
Set actually is going to jump right into Nunu. There's no way you're living this, Nunu.
Yeah, Nunu has no flash, no blast. There's no way he's doing it. So he needs to find a way to get out if possible. And now all of a sudden, something that was looking very close is just super in favor of EGL now. They have 3 Infernals with the Infernal Soul, the Baron buff. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they get double inhib off this push.
Yeah, just a great dragon fight from EGL. You know, Set actually getting a humongous ult and like a 3-man stun off of his E. It initially looked like Aatrox and Nunu had a great engage, but they just didn't have a way of finishing off any member, and you know they got so low. Aatrox ended up popping his GA. You know, Nunu went into stopwatch, and there's just nothing they could do from that point on. And maybe a little bit of some missed comms there from PTC. You know, it looked like Orianna wanted to go in, ended up dying, trying to stop the dragon from being taken. There were 3 other members alive. Yeah. You know, the Aatrox, the Aphelios, the Lulu. They were all up at that point. You know, health bars were definitely low.
Because if they just stack that, like the thing is, like Nunu dies and Set dies, so they don't have a jungler. Like that is a Infernal Soul. If Orianna just lived, they could have prevented them there.
And I think that's part of, again, like the team comp, right?
Wow,
and
that
actually,
is huge.
This is a huge turn, actually. Zoe dies right off the bat. Aphelios is actually going to pick up a kill on Morgana here, too.
Oh my god, that Mystic shot does like half health of Lulu.
Oh. And we got to see a little bit of 200 years there, and actually a good hold from PTC there. You know, they're able to pick up some Barons off of that.
Yeah.
So,
but it's not going to turn into anything. It's mainly just like delaying.
It really just buys them time. You know,
yeah.
It's going to save them a little bit of time here. It's going to let them recoup a little bit. and it's going to give them another shot at a good team fight. You know, it's definitely a little bit of a misstep from EGL there. So, good pickup from PTC. They're going to be able to hold and hopefully look for a fight that they can actually win here.
Yeah, I don't think they're actually going to be able to get anything off this Baron then. They're probably just going to wait for the Elder to come up, which will actually be the game-defining fight if they can get the... If PTC can somehow get the Elder Dragon buff, that'd be good, but it might not even matter with triple Infernal Soul.
As we're opting to go Lord Dominic's here over Mortal Reminder, that's an interesting buy to me. I definitely feel like Mortal Reminder would have been the better option.
Yeah.
But he's opting for Lord Dominic's here.
Maybe it's because, like, you already have the Morellos.
Yeah,
like,
Morello on Zoe.
That, like, maybe he didn't need another form of...
Oh, he actually swapped to Bramble. I appreciate Executioners, right? He bought that, like, first this game, actually.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
Yeah, just some position here. Nunu actually going on that Zoe, but not being able to do anything. And they're pushing in here.
Yeah, at this point, Ignite is not doing like a craft ton. It's just another form of Reaver's Wound.
And Zoe must be pretty close to death cap here with those two large rods.
Yeah, she'll definitely have it before the Elder Dragon.
Yeah, it looks like she's about 700 gold away from death cap. So that's going to be a very big buy and something to look for here. EGL clearing out vision over by the Dragon Pit, kind of setting up for Elder when it eventually spawns. Aatrox does have his GA back up here, so that'll be big for the next fight too.
Yeah. It's like you think like Lulu like wants to help out the Aphelios a lot. And like Aphelios is like really strong, but maybe I'm thinking like give some buffs onto Aatrox a little bit. Aatrox has been doing so much in these fights.
Yeah, and I still feel like this comes down to, you know, ease of execution in these team fights. It's just so much easier for EGL if they land some form of long-range CC from either Zoe or Morg. They're very easy targets for Ezreal to poke people down, and he's doing so much damage with these Mystic shots. And yeah, look at this. They get a pretty easy pick here, and they force a Flash and Lulu ult out here. Nuno actually walking back in. Look at this humongous shield on him. He's actually going to live.
Oh, and Aatrox is coming in now.
Humongous ult.
Oh my god, Aphelios ult is crazy.
And Aatrox and GA, he's about to spawn.
Comes up.
A huge shot
Mega Man
wave.
does take out Morgana. That's doing pretty good, but Deadpool Gambit's super strong. Double kill out of Mega Man. This is a 3 for 0 right now, and the Elder Dragon's up.
And you have Ezreal down here trying to do his best to poke this down. I don't know if he's going to have a lunch.
Mystic shot as well.
He just gets destroyed by an Oriana Q.
QW.
Oh, a QW just blows him up. You have Biz. Hunt for the hero steal. He doesn't get it. And a clean ace from PTC. What a fantastic sequence.
Yeah, that was, oh my god, that was crazy. Yeah, Aatrox did so much in that fight with the Inferno multi, I believe, out of Aphelios. He is so strong, and now you have 7 seconds on Cryptic, you have 10 on Morgana, but then after that you have 20 seconds on Hedo Antonio, 45 out of Viz, and
I think they just push for the win here, right? Like they have Elder. There's no way they don't win here.
Like
barring them getting blown up.
Cryptic cannot deal with this, especially with Elder buff. This is actually just a game.
Yeah, absolutely. What a huge turn. Just a fantastic last team fight. More going into stopwatch, but she's going to die the moment she comes out. Oh, and Set actually, huge kill on the Aphelios. So many people are low, but they're rushing down the Nexus, and they're going to finish that. Wow, what an ending.
That was super hype. Wow, that was great play from Megan Foxy, getting a lot of stuff down, clumping them together for the Infernum ulti out of Aphelios to just hit so many people and like delete anybody, delete Cryptic from doing anything early. What an insane game! Can we look at
I mean, that's what happens when an Aphelios gets to late game and has that many items.
Yeah.
Like, man,
can we look at the gold like difference graph? I don't know if we can do that here. Actually, I don't think we can do that on this page. But like you see the gold or like the damage chart. Like you see like Vindy's doing 55,000 on this Ezreal, but Aphelios, Deadpool Gambit doing almost 60,000 damage, just absurd. And then you have Cryptic doing 33,000, Padawan Tanya doing 28, Mega Man doing 28. Yeah, that is
I'm definitely have to go back and watch how that played out at the end. I'm fairly certain Aatrox TP'd for a flank there, and that's how he was in the middle of the entire team while EGL was engaging on the Nunu. So he had a great flank. He was able to get in. He had GA, so if he dies once, no problem. He's going to respawn. And by that time there are so many people on top of him trying to kill him. Aphelios got like a 4-man Infernum ult, which just completely ripped through them, and then a good shockwave follow up after Aatrox respawned. So just a great fight. And then maybe a little bit of a misstep. Ezreal trying to do his best, just trying to poke him down, hopefully push them off of the Elder.
Yeah.
But at the time, maybe if he lives there and if they just concede, right? If they give up the Elder, the Ezreal, the Sejuani live. You have the Zoe respawning and the Morg respawning. Before they actually get to base. Maybe they actually hold that Elder fight, and maybe they get another team fight shot. But yeah, they commit there, and Orianna picks up a good kill on the Ezreal, and that ends the game. And it does force a game 3, so we actually do get to see a third game here.
Yeah, and now it comes down to the interesting kind of like mindset that both these teams will have. So you got EGL with the side selection. Are they going to go back on the red side, which got them the game 1 win? But they also did very well on this blue side, so it needs to come down to what they like in the draft. If they want to ban anything. Because, you don't think, Aphelios is, a super high-priority pick, but Deadpool Gambit put on a lot of work, and so did Megan Foxy. So, yeah, it's super interesting.
We'll see what they decide to do. You almost feel like you might want to ban out the set on PTC side just from the 2 games that we've seen. Padawan seems really comfortable on him and had some great team fights. Maybe that's something that PTC will look towards banning, or maybe they'll just opt in for the same lane where they pick Aatrox into it, and they're kind of fine with that handshake in lane. And Set had a lead on him, and Aatrox was able to just do fine. He was able to farm up. He was never behind on CS. He had great team fights. He was really able to be a forest slate where he would try to push Ezreal off in fights and kind of secure certain zones where Ezreal couldn't push through. So.
Yeah, this was it was interesting. It definitely seemed like this was a more comfort game out of them. Megan Foxy looking very comfortable on Aatrox. Jig and Jag really likes the Nunu. I mean, being able to even though his ganks were lackluster before, the fact that late game you have these consume smites and you almost the 50-50s turn into 80-20s for the Nunu getting the smite down. It was really nice for them to pick up that Elder Dragon and pick up a lot of those dragons early. Crazy 7-dragon game.
Yeah, you rarely see games go that late. That was almost a 50-minute game. So, those are definitely fun to see where all these champs are just completely loaded with gold. They have all these items. How do teamfights play out? And yeah, I mean, they just burned all their engage on that Nunu at the end. They weren't able to burn through it, and that's just kind of how the game goes. You burn everything, your whole positioning, your all your valuable skills on a Nunu who lives, and then you don't have a way of finishing off the rest of the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we did see an Aphelios ban, because I think that was definitely very strong in lane. It was great in the team fights themselves. I definitely think that was good.
Yeah, the question mark that I have is you had the Aphelios and the Aatrox, but it was also the Lulu. So even though you're the gold is where it's at, the Lulu with the Ardent Sensor helps them out so much. So the question is, does Big Lots play other champions like the Lulu in which banning the Lulu doesn't matter, or maybe they do? I don't know. That'll have to come down to the research that they do. Because Yeah, like the Lulu didn't seem like he was doing a lot, but like putting a Whimsy and the big shield onto like Aatrox or Deadpool Gambit's Aphelios.
Yeah, you always think of Lulu as a support you pair with like a hyper carry. It's always been known as going with Kog'Maw or Vayne or things like that. But you forget when you have this humongous Aatrox in the top lane who by himself heals up so much. Like he had Death Dance, he had Spirit Visage, he just with his kit ulting and hitting those sweet spots, he heals so much. With a Lulu ulting him on top of that and making him so fast, that it just makes it, the Lulu pick so much more valuable. You have more than one target that you can unload all your skills on to have a huge effect on the fight. So, Lulu definitely kind of a unique champ in that way, where she's not always a prioritized champ, but definitely has her place.
Okay, I think I'm going to take a really quick, like, 3-minute break right before we get into the next game so these guys can talk strategy and stuff like that. So we'll be right back after that. All right, and we are back. Should be loading into Champ Select soon here.
And just a couple things to touch on here. It looks like EGL picked red side, so they go back to red side, which they won on game one. Looks like all three games, the team that had side selection ends up picking red side. And then we do have EGL Gilio, who is their main starter. Actually, he is back, so he is gonna hop into his rightful place. And props to Padawan for coming in for those 2 games. He played great both games, and third game Gilio will take over.
All right, so looking at pick ban, Leona does come back. It's been banned by PTC all these games. Um, just like it is very strong, but it's also interesting to see that they don't want to like first pick it. Considering how strong it is, it seems like this is like a kind of handing off Morgana over. We'll see if that's his new Valios ban. Definitely
Who
a
dares
strong
defy
respect
my
ban.
will?
J4 comes out.
I think the J4 ban's kind of interesting considering how well I thought Viz played out the early game on the Sejuani last game. I mean, I guess it's hard to argue the value of J4, but I feel like Sejuani and J4 are gonna kind of operate the same. So I mean, I guess it'd be interesting to see if maybe they trade the Echo ban for the Sejuani ban and get rid of both of those. Because I mean, if they have a disastrous early game like they did last time, I struggle to see if they end up scaling really hard again.
Yeah. You see the Victor ban again. I wonder like if they just know something that we don't with the Victor ban in terms of like what's happening in scrims. And the Nunu ban comes out because that's super good. It's super hard to try to outsmite Nunu. We'll see if Gilio plays Seto as well as Pedro Antonio did. The fact that Set is not banned still, maybe they prioritize that. Maybe Gilio doesn't play it as well, and they want to go something else because they want to ban the Jax. And Zaya comes out, swapped out the Zaya ban or the Zaya ban for the Affiliates ban, and yeah, I guess PTC like it that much that they want to first pick it.
Yeah, we were talking about, curious on why they were banning the Zaya, because I guess she's, not really known as a huge power pick currently, but we're seeing why. They end up first picking the Zaya because she's left open. And it looks like EGL is going to once again grab that Morgana. I think that's a very good or a very good pick. It's been, doing some work in lane, and we'll see if that continues.
I mean, I would be really curious to see if this is actually Kog'Maw. Caitlyn, again here, I think is perfectly fine. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
I actually really like Caitlyn and Desire. I think it's kind of the same deal as a lot of other short-range champions. You just get bullied really, really hard by the Caitlyn for the entire early game, really. Even at level
Yeah.
6, I mean, Zaya it doesn't really do a whole lot 'cause it's not like Caitlyn's doing a lot of burst damage to you that you're trying to ult out of. Most of the time, if you ult with the Zaya, you're just going to die anyways to her. The only thing that's really super useful for is maybe if you're about to get last hit from the Caitlyn ult and you just ult the Caitlyn ult out of it. So
It's definitely just for like the safety and the ulti, I guess. But it's interesting to see that they don't like have like anything else like more valuable, because it's like you have the Zaya. It's not like EGL is gonna want to pick it. Like they've been totally content playing a Morgana lane with like Caitlyn. So I don't know. I still feel like PTC should have just banned Morgana. It seems like that's like their favorite support to play right now.
Your
Um,
emperor shall return.
You seen a zero ban? Good ban. Target to get Mega Man, just
I'll come
super
back
mobile
stronger.
champion. GP Gilio is a pretty strong GP player, and giving that ulti, like helping out bottom lane, kind of like a Shen.
I actually really like the Trundle pick here, just on like a side note. Picking it into the Zac, I feel like it should enable Viz to have another really good early game into the Zac. Zac doesn't have a lot of options in the jungle if Trundle decides to play really aggressively and invade him, and they should have bottom lane priority, which helps a lot. And we'll see what they can draft like mid and top lane, but if you can also get mid lane priority too, I mean, it really just makes it hard for the Zac to even do a whole lot until the early game, or until
I feel like
later on in the game. I mean,
I feel like mid lane's been going like pretty much the same way, and I feel like they should just pick mid right here and save top counter pick. But there's a lot of top lanes banned though.
Yeah, Set's still
That's
open, so
it's a
we'll see
Galio.
if we see a third pick from him, and it's actually Galio. So we would assume that's Galio mid. I'd be very surprised if it was Galio top. So that's an interesting pick here from EGL. I think I have seen Cryptic play that before, so it definitely does look like that is going to be
Yeah.
a Galio from Cryptic.
I am curious to know why you would blind it, considering that you could have saved it for the counter pick last, because now that I'm seeing the Corki pick come in, I guess in my head, I don't know exactly how the matchup will play out, but I struggle to see how Corky doesn't just win that matchup easily and scale into a point where he becomes a really big issue.
And we'll see
Yeah.
the Aatrox once again from Megan Foxy, and we'll see what the counter pick into Aatrox is for Gilio.
See a hover on Poppy. I actually think Poppy's great into the Aatrox. Now this is a big skill matchup if he ends up locking in the Camille here, and he does. So on paper, if everything goes great, Camille, I'm pretty sure wins this matchup, right? Bearson, maybe give a little bit more insight on that.
I think definitely skill based. I'm not a huge fan of Camille Top myself, but yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to see how they play. Gilio didn't play the first 2 games, so I don't know if he's warmed up or not. We'll have to see how he does this.
Yeah, the Camille with the Galio though will be really nice. If you can like Camille ulti like onto the Xayah, and then throw the Galio ulti, the Xayah will have to use her ulti like extremely well, and get a lot of value out of it to just not get like locked out because of getting like Camille stunned into knocked up into taunted. So maybe Deadpool Gambit will be going cleanse this game again, maybe.
I feel like you almost have to, right? Because when I'm looking at the way bottom lane goes here, if you don't take cleanse, Lulu isn't going to do a whole lot for you pre-6 if you get hit by a binding. Kaylin's just going to put the trap down. She's going to get a couple autos on you, headshot auto. Then you can get an EQ combo with another headshot. And you're basically forced out of lane, and the most Lulu can do for you there is give you a shield. Otherwise,
I
you're
would-
basically going to be killed or forced out of lane every single time you get hit pre-6.
Yeah, I would really like to see Lulu go heal and Deadpool Gambit cleanse. The other thing I like about the Trundle pick that we were talking about before is that like even though Xayah's known as like a safe champion because of the ulti being untargetable, she doesn't like actually like move anywhere really. So like if the Trundle can like throw up the pillar, like Xayah is still like vulnerable. So it kind of just like buys time for like the team to try to collapse.
Yeah, just looking at team comps in general, I think I definitely like PTC's team comp better this game. Seems a little bit easier as far as front to back. They have a good front line of Aatrox and Zac. Corky and Xayah both long range carries that have self peel. They both have some dashes that they can get out of some trouble with. Well, Xayah's ult isn't really a dash, but some self peel, and then you have Lulu to be able to kind of protect a carry as well. So really strong team fighting comp on the side of PTC. I think EGL does have some pretty nice tools. Like if you can get a really nice Camille ult on one of the carries, you can follow it up with a Galio ult to confirm them them getting a knock up there and some pretty easy engage. And Trundle being able to ult Zac in team fights is going to be pretty effective. And then they still have that same really safe, really strong bot lane of Caitlyn Morgana.
Yeah, this is another one of those games where I feel like it is on EGL to play the early game like the same way they did last game, but not falter in the points that they were like in the mid game when they were getting picked. Like they have the stronger early game comp on paper. As long as they don't make a whole lot of mistakes and they play as well as they did early game last game, I think that they should be able to close it out. But I mean, just like you said, the opposing composition looks really good when they are team fighting. So if they aren't able to, close very cleanly and get proper setup around the objectives and stuff like that, it might go in the way of PTC again.
Yeah, what
Yeah,
I'm really worried about is like the way that like EGL's team fight like fights is like they run at you with the fight. So you have like the Camille E like throws herself at him. Same thing with Galio, you have to like ulti or like jump in with the taunt then. So like if the execution of that like doesn't go like perfectly, then all of a sudden you're like very vulnerable like in the middle of PTC's team, and with Lulu applying like Ardent Sensor and shields to, and like Lulu like supporting Xayah, Corki, and Aatrox are all very strong. So yeah, if EGL doesn't like execute this like very well, the counter fight from PTC will be very, very good.
And looks like we're loading in the game now. I'll have to see, both teams, the first two games just 5-pointed, no real interaction in the early game. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the same thing happen again for this game. Seems like both teams really just want to have their junglers get the own clear that they want and kind of go from there.
Yeah, pretty standard stuff out of them. Bot lane on PTC did go heal on Isaiah, Ignite on Lulu. We were talking about like the cleanse and the AD carry thing. We'll see if they get punished for that or not. Corki ended up going teleport, which teleport on Corki is very strong. You can pick up the package, teleport anywhere, and you instantly have a whole lot of pressure there. But
Yeah, we'll have
otherwise,
to see how the package is used this game. We saw last week during the games where Corki was picked, package was really heavily prioritized over Dragon Control. We'll have to see how Mega Man uses package this game, whether he uses it for the same or, if he wants to use it for, some gank opportunities in roams either top or mid, or top or bot.
Mhm.
Yeah, kind of the same starts, just 5 points. They just playing defensive. They want to clear their own jungles and go from there.
Yep. They picked up the pink ward and the pixel bush. PTC did. Zach basically get the sweeper, but not too much action. Kind of just giving each team their space before Li Xiao, both jungles starting bot side.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, like, I don't think either comp necessarily is great at level 1, so I mean, that's why we're not seeing a whole lot of invades. Although, I mean, I feel like I would have liked to see maybe EGL here look to get a deeper ward just for the Trundle, just so he knows where the Zac is. I feel like I said before in draft, I feel like Trundle kind of dictates what's going to go on in the jungle for most of the early game, and for them not to just walk into Isaiah Lulu in the bottom lane and maybe ward the red buff is kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of value in going as a 4 or 5 man group early to be able to get some deep vision and just having that extra intel on where the other team is. It can help a lot. We saw last game there was a really early kill top lane where they weren't necessarily expecting an early gank, and just having that knowledge on where a jungler is or what side he starts or what path he's taking, that can help prevent deaths like that.
Yeah, and I mean, for PTC side, I do maybe understand a little bit more. Oh, almost lands a bomb there. I do understand a little bit more maybe why you wouldn't want to invade on the level 1, because Morg binding can be a little bit scary. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, on EGL side, I feel like it's just a free invade to get some information for your jungler. Bottom lane going the way of the Caitlyn. Morgana is expected. They hit the level 2 first, get a good trade, burn the health pot out of Isaiah, so kind of going as expected so far.
Yeah, I'll have to see how this mid lane plays out, because definitely the Galio blind pick is an interesting one. I kind of want to see how this plays out as far as team fights go, how he roams, where he decides to ult initially. I think that's going to be a big deciding factor on how well this early game goes.
Yeah, Galio in general has just been pretty good with having the same amount of map movements as a Shadow wants to. It's just really good because Galio does a good job of shoving the wave in, looking to try to help jungler, especially because it offers a whole lot of card control at level 3. Trundle's looking at the top lane now. And
he's going in a very early flash from Aatrox, a great pillar from Trundle, and this looks like it's going to be first blood, and it does go over to the Camille.
Yeah, I don't like that flash at all. I think you just literally need to hold the flash for the Camille E to actually show, and then you can just flash away from it.
Yeah, just early flashing, the downside to that is there's no way to stop the other team from engaging on you at that point. Camille can either guarantee she lands an E on you at that point, and Trundle can slow you with a pillar now that he knows exactly where you are. I mean, he flash and used E at the same time, and Gally actually going on this Corki in mid lane gets a lot of damage. With Zac there to follow up and prevent any more damage done.
Yeah, the thing is though is that Corki does have the corrupting potion and the total distance of delivery. So he will be healing up pretty well soon. Like in Foxy though, even though he died level 1, he didn't burn the teleport. So now he's down 13 CS and down 1,000 gold total.
feel
Going
like,
Galio actually going back in here,
Yeah, I
but
feel
not
like
going to find the
Cryptic
taunt.
kind of jumped the gun a little bit there. There wasn't any ward. I don't know if they had any knowledge of there not being a ward there for the Trundle coming, but I feel like if you just wait for like the pillar to come in, that might be a little bit easier for you to get the taunt off.
Potentially, yeah. Corki is definitely like keeping the distance pretty well. And considering that you can just like Valkyrie over the pillar,
Man, looks like the bot lane is going to have a gigantic lead here too. Already up 10 CS and just had that wave crash into tower.
yeah, that didn't even crash. Now they're freezing it here. This could be really brutal. Maybe they.
Yeah,
can
I'm
get
actually really surprised they let Kate Morg go through again, because they banned Kate game 2, and you know that worked wonders for them, where they didn't have to deal with the Kate Morgana. And Morg pushing up here, actually landing a binding, and good
This is
follow-up
really
damage
good.
actually back to the Morg here.
Oh,
and that
wow, and
ignite
they
is going to
ignite.
tick down.
Yeah,
Big turn onto the Morg.
they do lose every summoner spell except for Lulu, and they lose the Morgana Flash and the Killer Hero. But now,
A good pillar, a blue smite to slow down
the
the
TP comes in.
Zaya.
I think that's from Corki and 8 double TP. Trundle's all alone, but
Oh, and we have Galio ulting in. We have Camille
yeah,
teleporting
this
in
is
as
a,
well.
this is a
and
whole party bottom lane.
This is all members of the game on the bot side here, actually.
Yeah,
And surprisingly
Oh.
enough, the only death was that initial kill onto the Morg, which ended
Yeah.
up with a Lulu ignite. But this is going to be a big fight over the Dragon. Galio going in, getting a big bump on the Zac, a pillar there, and he is in his passive. Camille
no.
actually getting that stun onto Corki, and he burns a flash over the wall, and they're going to
Yeah, I
finish off over Zac.
Camille flash followed, but there's no way that Camille, just the level 5, was able to lock the Corki down. We're kind of a witch in the Camille flash, but yeah, definitely over aggressive. That timers these early are not that strong. So Morgana coming back, it was like not really a good reason to like actually start that dragon. Literally, it's just like every person is kind of linked to that.
Yeah,
Galio
tough to
now-
say, you know. He really wanted that kill on the Corki and just over ambitious and flashing forward after he already burned the one engage tool that he had on him. But you know that still pushes him out, and it does secure that dragon over to EGL. So a good pickup by them, and really, you know, so many summoners used in that entire sequence. You know, teleports, the Galio ult. I think really the only global that's left up is actually Galio TP. Now he was able to hold on to that.
Yeah, that's a good value out of the Galios. The ulti comes in, so you don't need to teleport to the fight like Corki does. I mean, Galio ulti is pretty long. It's like halfway back up, so maybe they can look for a fight while TP is while they have like TP advantage for lane. Corki now does have the Tear of the Goddess, though. He's going for that Minimum build, which is pretty good with once you get like a bunch of items. Like if you can get like Trinity Force with Minimune on Corki, that's a lot.
Well, a good binding landed on Lulu. He gets a Q and a headshot followed up and brought so low. Zaya does block that ult to prevent the kill, but that is a lot of damage onto the Lulu.
Yeah, and you see gold difference. 15 CS and a kill that Caitlyn has over Zaya. That's a big difference. Is that the Lulu got the kill in the bot lane, not the Zaya. So she's not really doing that much. But in terms of items, they have the same with a BF and the fair boots.
We do
Yeah,
see
and Kate
level
just has
6.
this huge lead.
Yeah, we do see level 6 on both the Morg and the Caitlyn here too, so they're just kind of extending it even further. Hard to answer the level 6 Morgana when you're sitting at level 5.
And from you being a mid lane Corki player, what do you think about lethal tempo on Corki mid? I just realized he did take that versus like fleet footwork, which is pretty common.
So I think it's okay in the lane.
Zach actually ganking bot here, and Morg pops ult. And
Oh
we just
man, if he
disengage.
lands that binding, that is an easy
Oh, and a lot of damage out of the Zaire. He burns ult. Kate flashes in for the kill, and that last auto does not tick down. And everyone's going to walk away from that. Zaire brought almost to like 1 health. Oh, and Corky package coming through, and that is going to be a quick double kill.
Both kills. That is huge for Corky. So, yeah, while all that was happening, the Trundle got the Riptail on the top side. Trundle is like the top side jungle from Jig and Jag, but yeah, like you said before, so what I like to do is like fleet forward in the lanes that are like a little bit like harder, because like Corky doesn't have like a lot of like good matchups. It's pretty much just like Corky's just like a safe champion, but he definitely doesn't have like a great early game.
Oh, and Aatrox first ult for the movement speed here.
Because it's a Galio in the mid lane, Corky will be able to like use the lethal tempo, get a lot more shots in with Tear of the Goddess and Manamune. So my main thing is when I play Corky, I don't like going the Tear of the Goddess build, because even though it's like a lot of damage late, it just sacrifices your power spike early. So it takes a lot longer for you to get your Trinity cores, and then like your crit items like Infinity Edge and stuff. So.
Yeah, like a lot of people either go the Manamune or they just go straight Triforce IE for an earlier 2-item spike.
Another return gang bottom lane with everyone here. Yeah, Corky's here too, and
they're gonna give the kill over to the Zaya.
That is really nice. Corky's already doing okay, but Zaya was having a little bit of issues in that lane. Still down CS and stuff, but now that's another death from Zaya, or another death from Caitlyn, so missing out on experience too.
Yeah, I think this is where you see the problem with the Caitlyn Morgana lane. It is so dominant, but the problem is that the way I believe that you want to play the lane out is by, you know, constantly shoving in, getting priority, looking to get turret plates, and just push an advantage that way, because honestly Caitlyn, when it comes to scaling, isn't like any better than any other AD carry, and is probably a little bit weaker than Zaya even though she has more attack range. So you really want to get yourself a gold lead in the laning phase, and when you don't play around the Caitlyn lane, and you just kind of let it do its own thing, it can be targeted for roams and ganks down there, and it's pretty easy to shut down because she doesn't have a lot of options outside of just her 90 caliber net to get out. Yeah, so that's kind of what I feel like PTC is doing. They're identifying a way to shut it down and going for it, even though on the opposite side, EGL seems like they were going for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and we're seeing a big Dragon contest here. Trundle walks right in. He's looking for a steal here. The smite goes down, but it's actually secured by Zaya. Oh, yeah, Aatrox flashes forward for a Q3 and doesn't actually land the sweet spot on anyone. They're all able to walk away. Corky poking with missiles here.
But Camille TP's into that, like at the very end of it.
Oh, and Trundle walking forward. He's actually taken so low. He's gonna fall here. A huge Morgana ult. This is a very split fight here. Corky dies in the pit to the Camille, and
but it's a 2-for-1 now.
Yeah, Morg falls to the Zaya. Zaya picks up a double kill in that fight.
It was like, yeah, I just like, I mean, Camille TP'd in, got the ulti off on Corky with the Galio combo, locking the Corky down for an easy knockup from Galio, but
yeah, you know, Camille was able to get that tower top and then decided to TP. Like, maybe you just keep pushing there. I mean, you are able to pick up a good kill on the Corky. I believe that might have been a shutdown as well, which is definitely nice. They don't unfortunately secure the dragon, so that does go over to the Zaya on PTC. You know, they're able to secure that, and definitely just a very split fight.
Yeah, I like the Camille TP because, especially because it's still 14 minutes. It was after that fight that they were still able to get plates mid between Camille and Galio.
Yeah,
and since, you know, they're TPing around Dragon, it'll be, you know, up for the next Dragon fight as well.
I think that this game now at this point, with looking at the gold in the bottom side, now Caitlyn's down 600 to the Zaya, which is really not a position you want to be in as the Caitlyn. It's going to be a lot around Galio having, looks like an almost 2k gold lead up in the top lane, and being up 2 kills on his lane opponent currently. So it's kind of going to be the fight between opposite sides of the map. I don't really know which one I favor. I feel like Camille has options to split, but it's going to be a little bit harder for them to execute on a good Camille split push, whereas I feel like when you have a strong, you know, bottom side, it's easy to just group up and go for the bigger objectives like Dragons and Heralds.
Yeah, and EGL being up in gold here just from the early game, despite being down in kills. You know, they're down 6-3, but they have almost a 2k gold lead, and that is, you know, mainly from top lane. It looks like Camille is actually up about, you know, close to over 2k gold here. You know, and that's just a humongous deficit. Being able to take down that first tower and all the plates, plus being able to TP and pick up a kill.
Looks like things are slowing down a little bit. Herald's going to be up soon. Looks like EGL is setting up some vision around there. Trundle hovering, giving some safety to the Camille, and I do like what EGL's bottom side's doing now. They've kind of identified the win condition, or at least it appears to be, and they're just choosing to not push up anymore and give any more opportunities for Zach and Corky to roam down.
Yeah, especially with you know, whenever package is up, that's always something you have to be, you know, worried about. That's a really huge engage tool. It does a lot of damage and can easily catch out laners that are pushed up. So good to stay back here. Very easy Herald secure here as well. With that top tower being down, they're able to push the wave to tier 2. They just have all vision control on that top side right now, and most likely we'll use this Herald mid. We'll have to see exactly what they do with it, or if they decide to hold it. Yeah, it looks like they actually are holding it here.
Yeah, and the Galio pick is still kind of interesting here because I always look for like the big team fight ultimates and having like just a lot of peel for your ADC, but we'll have to see like maybe how instead of looking for big team fight ultimates, it's going to be played around the top side a little bit more and enabling Galio to maybe look for turret dives on the Aatrox and stuff like that by having the Galio ultimate to back him up.
Yeah, Galio actually using his TP mid here. Corky is holding on to package as well, so you know, might not have a great use for this package. He actually eats a binding here. He gets taunted by the Galio, and he's actually going to eat that ace in the hole. He lives, but will Galio be able to finish this off? He does with an auto attack, and that is really rough to see. Actually, dying with package up.
Tragic.
And here's that
Zach actually walking up here. Camille's going to ult with Galio ult on top, but Galio does not actually land the knockup, and Zach is forced to flash out. So they're going to secure this mid tower, and most likely Dragon after. So a huge turn for EGL.
And they dropped the Herald mid lane as well. Honestly, it was a bit misplayed from EGL. The Galio should have saved the ultimate for when the Camille ult comes down, and I think they would have gotten the kill.
A bit wrong.
I mean, we'll see if it matters here, because if Zach manages to jump and steal this, that is going to be a big flub. All right,
I don't think
here.
Okay.
And they'll pick up the kill anyway.
I don't think like the Cloud Dragon when you're already 1-1 in Dragons is like super worth it.
So yeah, just a massive mid play from the Corky there. He has package up. He walks into that bush. He eats a binding, and then he actually packages in as well. You know that
yeah, I know.
Which leads to his death. If he just packages back, he lives. But he actually packages forward. Has to, you know, Valkyrie out anyway after that. Then, you know, eats the ace in the hole and then an auto from Galio. And
Nice pillar. Forces the flash out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen good pillars from Viz this game. Definitely having a big impact when he's roaming over the lanes.
Yeah, every single game Viz has been playing very well, very consistent. Yeah, the thing that like I was like worried about from PTC is like they were up 6-3, but they were down in goal, and it's kind of hard to like assess like if you're actually like winning these like or not, because they were down like 1,000 when they were up 3 kills. Now they're down 2.5. So
yeah, and we have the luxury of actually seeing these numbers. You know, these players won't actually know exactly what the goal difference is, and you know, maybe if they're seeing themselves being up 6-3, they were even on Dragons. You know, maybe they're a little more confident than they should be, and yeah, just a couple misplays lead to some deaths, some mid tower dropped, and a big Dragon given over. So EGL has the lead towards Seoul currently up 2-1, and yeah, they're looking pretty strong here.
Yeah, we're kind of back to where we were in game 2, being up in gold, being in the driver's seat. Hopefully they can hold on to it this time instead of making the mistakes that they had made in the last game, just like I had brought up in the pregame earlier.
Yeah, we've seen 3 great early games from EGL, and PTC was able to play a great mid and late game in game 2, and despite being down a Baron and an Infernal Soul, they're able to find the right fights to win, and we're able to take that game, and we'll have to find some more of that magic this game too, being down early and being down in dregs as well.
I feel like the execution for EGL is a little bit harder this time around, knowing that Camille eventually might not have a lot of split push pressure on the Aatrox as the game continues on. Trundle falls off pretty hard, and then I think the Xayah is just going to be safer and probably outscale the Caitlyn a little bit, along with having the Lulu at his side too, and the Corki's probably going to outscale Galio too, so I think EGL really can't afford any screw-ups here.
Yeah,
I like the... Oh, go ahead.
You already have Lulu with Ardent Sensor, and like Corki and the Xayah's already on 2 items. Corki's like about to get the Trinity Force. Like if this game can get to like 40 minutes again, like Corki is just gonna be hitting like a truck, and it's gonna be pretty hard for them to like lock down people. It's kind of like we said before in Champ Select, where like if EGL doesn't play like the fights like perfectly with like locking down people, there's so much damage on the side of PTC.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Just having Xayah Corki with a Lulu to buff them, it's definitely a very strong mid and late game for the carry side of PTC, and EGL is going to have to find a way to lock them down, whether that's through the Camille Galio combo or some kind of more binding that's able to catch someone off guard. It will be tough team fights. They have a lead though, so hopefully they'll be able to push that, and we'll see how things play out.
Oh, Camille going in, and this is exactly what I was talking about with the Galio. Helping him get the tower dives off. Burn a TP
coming out of the top
well.
It doesn't matter. That's super good execution. Good read that they can kill Aatrox super quickly. Because yeah, Galio is going full AP. It's not even like a lot of the health items that you might see with like Oblivion Orb. Just Protobelt jump in easier, and Sonya's lots of burst damage. That's like a really random good thing about Galio is people underestimate his damage. He does a lot.
Yeah, and it's
we'll have to see if they're able to do more fights like those. Just layering those 2 ults is so strong, and if they're able to get more than 1 knockup when they're doing that, even better.
Yeah, the only thing though is I think Corki is the package right now for the Dragon, and now you don't have the Galio Camille combo for the Dragon, so getting that pick is nice, but it would have been just more valuable to just save it or for this Dragon fight. We'll see if PTC, even though they're down 3,500 gold, they can do something.
Yeah, and they're actually finding a pick here on the Zac, a great pillar keeping him in, and Corki's behind with the package, really trying to pull the trigger here. Yeah, Aatrox is TPing in here. And they actually finished the Zac off. You have Aatrox going in, fighting a big knock-up, and he is just huge, pushing him back.
Big one.
Huge rocket, taking down the Morgana, and Aatrox is still pushing forward on the Caitlyn. He's healing so much. Zai's able to finish off the Caitlyn. Corki with a double kill, killing the Trundle, and then they're able to take down the Galio after too. Just a huge fight, and that's kind of the power of being able to have this Aatrox in team fights. They didn't have the Galio Camille combo here, and wow, this Corki was able to find a nice snipe with a big one to get a good kill there.
Yeah, and all of a sudden from the 3,000 gold deficit that it was for PTC, they're going all the way down to 1,000. Get the Power Dragon. So mainly really nice to make sure that they aren't on a soul point. But
yeah, I mean, the fight was really interesting as well. I mean, it makes you wonder maybe if EGL should have just committed to one side or the other, because the bottom lane was completely split off from the top and mid laner. on the opposite side, and they just kind of danced around and waited for the teleport to complete channeling for like the Zac to come back, and then they burned a whole lot just to finish him off, which was kind of interesting. So I wonder if when, you know, like the Aatrox was just standing there and channeling teleport and the Zac was waiting to come back from his passive, they kind of had a 3v5 situation where maybe they could have used something to go in on either Corki or the bottom lane.
Yeah, and it's tough to engage on Corki there too. He did have package, and he was able to get a package off right as Camille was engaging on him. So that actually kept Corki safe. Camille was slowed so much by the package, he was actually completely out of the fight by then. And Aatrox being in the middle, you know, just being unkillable almost. I mean, he was just doing so much damage, healing a lot, and Xayah was untouched. It was just a pretty clean team fight from PTC.
Yeah, and that was kind of like the thing that was like hard about that dragon fight for EGL is like because they used the Camille and the Galio ulti for that like Aatrox in the bot tower. It's like it looked really good, but yeah, just not having those ultis for that fight made it really difficult to execute the dragon fight. They're losing a lot of
actually
ultis,
fighting
but
an
now they're
engager
hitting
onto the Aatrox. He's brought low, a good stopwatch here, and Camille's actually going to ult, and Galio's going to layer that ult again, and they're going to pick up a kill.
Really clean, actually, out of them. It seems really practiced, this Camille Galio that they're running right now. Now they're, see this comes in a 4v5 situation with Camille potentially, and most likely, probably going to get the tier 2 tower here as well.
Yeah, I
We'll
think
have
they
to see
just
if
need
they
to
continue
realize.
to force fights like this. You know, that's the second time they've picked up a quick, easy kill on Aatrox with these ults, and you know they're finding advantages from this. We'll just have to see if they can either push those advantages or
And
at least save them
here as well. And seeing the Corki in the bottom side, having still 3 seconds on Aatrox with no teleport on either member. I actually really like this call.
Yeah.
Super good macro out of them. We'll see if maybe Zac can steal or if they
Yeah, I was
can
gonna say they
ward them
don't do it
off.
fast enough.
Yeah, Zac's definitely going to be here, and they are going to get pushed off this. A good attempt, but a good rebuttal from PTC to know that they're there and to check that.
Yeah, but this still forces Corki out of the bot lane while Aatrox was dead, so they do get the bot lane tier 2 for free. That was kind of like what the trade was. Like, force them to come to the Baron to give Camille the free tower. Because now Camille is up like a lot. I think it was 2,500 or 3,000 gold.
Yeah, so
I
fizzles
feel
out,
like-
but they do get the tier 2 bottom side, so hopefully he's going to continue to be pressured for EGL. We'll see if PTC can maybe answer it with like a 4v5 play. Like if they ever see the Galio try to make that play again, I mean, it would be a 4v3 on the opposite side of the map, and the Xayah is still really, really strong, has a lot of gold over the Caitlyn, so I mean, Zac, maybe if you can find some long-range engage while they try to do, you know, sending multiple members onto the Aatrox, could swing the game.
Yeah, it literally just comes down to like, I feel like who like starts the fight first. Like if you can get like the good Zac engage, then that'll be really good. Otherwise, if you don't, then Camille will be happy to just like eat in, ulti style, and then use the Galio to finish him off. The only issue is that when they don't have those ultimates, their team fighting is a hell of a lot worse. So
We do have Dragon
When,
coming up soon as well, so I mean, we'll see if maybe they go for a similar player or save the ultimates for the actual team fight itself at the Dragon. Zac trying to go in, doesn't find anything.
yeah, Corki package should be up. They shouldn't be looking to like fight right now, and they're pretty okay. But I'm pretty sure Corki's picking up the package like right now.
And not quite. He still doesn't have package yet. Yeah, actually, I think he might be waiting for it here.
It looks like he's going back to base.
Yeah, look, I think he's
Maybe
waiting.
he's gonna TP home guard. Hope
He just grabbed it. Zac is so low here, and a Spooky Ghost just ices the team out. Corki does have package here, but with Zac being so low, they might just give the drag here.
I almost feel like they could have got
Yeah,
the
I
Zac
guess
kill
so.
with Camille going in as well there. He kind of like decided to go into the pit rather than like committing to the Morgana bind landing.
I think the thing is though is that they didn't actually realize that Corki
On Corky
Can I have
actually
the
going on this
package?
Gallo here, he's going to ult away for safety. There's a chance he might have died there if he didn't, so...
That's still a good trade though. You trade the package for that ulti.
Yeah, not much else he's going to do there with package, you know. You really want to be able to use package for those objectives, which unfortunately with Zach being poked out there, I wasn't able to do it, so wanted to see if we could find something there of value with it.
Yeah, and the EGL picking up these cloud dragons is actually like really dangerous because like the cloud soul doesn't do much, but if they get another dragon, you're gonna have an extra 30% ulti cooldown for the Galio Camille combo, along with like the Trundle ulti being very valuable. So
Yeah, and even like the speed boost from the ults, it's not even that bad. You know, a lot of these will be able to really use that. Caitlyn obviously won't, but you know, Trundle being able to get a huge speed boost after he ults someone, Caitlyn and Galio too, like those are pretty relevant buffs.
Mhm.
Corky just doing a lot of damage to this Galio now. He really cannot hang in line with him.
yeah, and soon enough, in a couple minutes, Corky's gonna have a Infinity Edge on top of that. Yeah. Oh, I really don't like this, to be honest. I think that, like the Galio has the Thornmail and Zhonya's. Like Galio needs to get himself out of that lane. Like Galio can't match Corky because Corky does like 85 to 90% magic damage. So like the Bramble Vest is pretty nice, but Corky's still gonna shut that Galio.
And you feel like, you know, although these, you know, objectives have been going to the side of EGL, you just feel like PTC is definitely content letting this game scale. Like the longer this goes, the stronger Corky and Zaya get for these team fights where they're just going to be able to rip through people.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
like now you're starting to see where Zaya really is super comfortable. Oh, and actually we have a huge engage here. Flash, and then the taunt, and then the trap.
Yeah, Zaya's going to be able to ult out, and Galio ulting back in to try to protect the Trundle
Oh,
here.
it cancels out the Zac to come.
Yeah, and I think
And
everybody's...
the Dark Binding.
No, they're actually going to get the taunt here too, and yeah, he's in...
Oh, the
acid
Chameleon's
and-
is jumping on Corky. Jumped out. So they get Zac right now. Popping the Zonias, but the feathers are prepped up. Yeah, and Corky takes out the Galio, and the Camille went down. This is 1 for 2 for PTC. But PTC doesn't have a jungler, so they can't really do the Baron with Trundle alive.
I would have to
It should
see what had happened with Gilio there, but you would have to think that taking
Gilio
that
went
free
very
kill
aggressive.
on the Zac would have been ideal for him, considering then he would just have complete priority in that bottom lane, and possibly they could have like split the map by starting the Baron 4v5 and letting the Camille continue to split.
I actually don't know why PTC didn't just like all go top lane for power. I feel like that would have been like really nice to get that standing gold off the map. But I mean the gold is back to just a 1,000 gold deficit, which doesn't mean a whole lot like right now. Can we take a look at the items for a quick second?
Yeah, just
Oh.
going back to watch that fight too, so they get that pick onto Zac, and yeah, while the entire four-man squad of EGL was just ready to kill the Zac out of his passive, Camille actually went in 1v4 and ulted onto the Corky, and unfortunately died. So a little bit of an interesting play from there. You know, as they kill the Zac, they actually walk forward to try to help the Camille, and that's when Aatrox is able to TP in, and they catch up, or they get an exit kill on the Galio, so they end up getting a 2-for-1. So
Yeah, and something I just realized is that this Zaya is so massive. 605, 300 CS. Already at 100% crit now, and it has the null magic panel to build into the QSS. The only thing is, like, she doesn't have any armor pen right now, and like, Trundle has Deadman's, Galio has Thornmail and Zonia's.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
we are looking at a full item difference between the Caitlyn and the Zaya at this point too, so I mean, your 80 carry is just so much stronger.
yeah, it's actually not the most necessary thing to buy. I mean, you're fine to buy, you know, how Zaya did, because you have such a huge Corky in the mid lane too. You know, it's not like you need to be
True.
the sole point of damage here. And we actually have a fight going on here. And Galio is actually ulting in here, and Aatrox again caught out with that double ult.
Yeah,
Big
Galio's
package.
been bringing
Galio's
the
in
package.
stopwatch. Aatrox is so low, and he's actually gonna live.
Yeah, Galio is so squishy to this Corki.
Yes, they once again burn these double ults onto Aatrox, and I just don't feel like he's the one that you should be prioritizing. If you can catch him out solo, that's fine. Oh, Zach actually jumping in on the Caitlyn here. A good trap, is able to get away. And
Yeah, pretty much just like giving some preparation for them to finish off the dragon.
Caitlyn actually had to burn the flash over the wall too to get away from the Zac because he was split from his team. So huge cooldown.
and this is actually another game where we are 3-3 on Drakes. That is
Yeah, that's crazy. I
yeah,
just
so
like this game just totally got out of the hand of EGL. Like their win condition was like not what they executed on like this game. Going for so many fights on the Aatrox. Oh my gosh.
Oh, and Morgana just gets
Morgana instantly
destroyed,
goes
just
down.
throwing a binding. Camille's
Yeah.
gonna fall as well. You have Galio following up, but
huge
But
steal from
actually
Fizz
steals the Baron,
Yeah.
so that is a humongous
and shut down
steal.
from Vindy. Vindy is just popping off in this fight. Can he actually get more?
Oh, but
He might actually, yeah, they
Oh my
actually get
God.
this humongous fight. So
Wait, that
Caitlyn
was-
the whole time is actually on the bot side of Baron, just cleaning up damage. Corki actually jumped over the wall to try to clear off, the Camille and the Galio that were over there, and they just completely leave this Caitlyn untouched,
This is
just
a
clearing
huge
the fight. Yeah, this is a humongous wave top, and Corki is there alone trying to hold this off. They lose Baron, they lose the fight, they lose all his tempo, and EGL should get an inhib, but I don't think they'll get much more off of this.
yeah,
So-
they don't have any waves prepped really. It's like they could definitely get this tier 2 mid with the Baron buff though, but I don't know. Galio's looking to base. Wow, yeah, what an incredible swing. Yeah, Caitlyn free hitting on that bottom side was just was crazy.
And I know we were talking about it a little bit earlier this game, but what a clutch moment from Viz, managing to steal that Baron for his team and keep them in it when their backs were really against the wall. And then kind of everybody was focusing onto him, so it really also enabled Caitlyn to free fire and get a triple
Yeah.
kill.
Yeah, they were hitting like Camille for the longest time in that fight, like on the top side. But then yeah, Vindy's just free firing with Caitlyn. And now the last Whisper item is completed. But yeah, I don't understand because they don't even have that much armor. You have Tabbies and Death Dance on Aatrox like 50 or 60 armor. But then Zac doesn't have any. And Lulu doesn't have any. So the last Whisper isn't even that valuable. You could have bought a Death Sword item. I feel like it would have been more efficient. Corki's still doing quite a bit of damage to Vindy.
Yeah, they're still pushing this lane with Baron. They're going to get this tier 2 and just going to go from there. Camille getting a little bit of damage off on the Aatrox here.
Yeah, pretty much just shoving in lanes back and forth.
Huge trade by Camille, forcing the ult out of Aatrox.
That is that second Q from Camille with the Sheen proc. It just does so much damage.
Binding from Morgana, you gotta assume that this is gonna be the engage. And it looks like
Oh, big binding onto the Lulu. She's going to get knocked up, taunted, and then put in the dirt.
Zac goes down.
Oh, another dark binding. Gets the Zac. Zac actually comes down. They do get Morgana. Where Zac is going down. Camille still has the ultimate. They can keep going.
And a flash from Zaya.
Yeah.
She has no summoners left. Oh, and Caitlyn just
Ooh.
free firing here. A lot of damage. And that one auto from Corki, and he's actually put so low. He has to package out. Which they're actually pushing here. They're a 4-man squad, and this
I don't think they
TP
can
coming
get
in. He
anything
doesn't
else,
land the
though.
taunt.
I mean, they have the top and bow waves coming in. They're calling out. They have the Dragon Soul really soon with triple inhib down. So they should be getting this in front of this Cloud Soul.
Yeah, they should be able to secure Soul here pretty safely. There's a lot of base here that they have to clear out.
What a
Yeah,
huge
this Caitlyn
swing
just
for
been-
EGL, and now it
Yeah.
also looks like Caitlyn is almost caught up in items. I mean, we were looking at almost a 4,000 gold deficit at one point this game, and after these past two fights and the Baron going
Yeah.
over and all these towers, it's only a 2,000 gold deficit for her, so she's really not that behind any longer.
Especially because I think not Corky's, Zaya is full build, and Caitlyn is still getting stronger. So that gold deficit isn't gonna mean much because like the only thing that Zaya could do if she wanted to was build something else instead of the Berserker Greaves.
Yeah, it looks like they are. I think the right call. PTC is just giving up this dragon is, not really a need to fight for that. It is just Cloud Soul, so not the worst soul to give over to a team if you still have a fighting chance. But they're gonna have to do some fantastic fighting to stay in this one.
Yeah, you need to find Vindy of these fights somehow. He's putting up a lot of damage.
He is pretty low mana here, so that could be a factor. But
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be
This
very
is gonna be
hard
very
because Galio, even if you manage to get onto the Caitlyn, can ult and potentially knock out multiple members on your team and let the
They need to go.
oh, they actually gonna jump in on the Phoenix. He flashes out. Exactly, brought so low. He's actually ulting in, but he dies. Galley ult is burned. Stopwatch is burned. It's a 5v4.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
this
need
Caitlyn is
to
taking so much damage.
just hit that.
And Corky's brought down
Corky's-
there.
Yeah,
That will be the game.
that is it. Wow.
Ends a
that
kill
Baron-
from Caitlyn at the very end.
Wow. Holy cow. Yeah, that shows that was crazy. Did not expect that. Caitlyn was on the back foot like for the majority of that game, besides like the very early game. But
And another barn burner here. Three relatively
Dragon's
close
Doggy.
games. The last two, for the most part, were very, very close going into the mid and late game. This last one here really just turned around at that Baron play. PTC got a big dragon. They got a pick. They went over to the Baron. It looked like a pretty clean secure, barring any kind of crazy steal, and just a little bit of a scattered fight. Some of them go over the pit to clear out half the members of EGL, and the other half are actually in front of the pit doing a lot of damage. And the Caitlyn's able to clean up this huge fight. Trundle with a fantastic Baron steal, and that really turned the game around. There was no looking back after that. They had that huge double wave top at the time. They got an inhib off of it. They ended up securing Soul afterwards. It's just a huge, huge fight, and that's just how some games go. You throw up Baron.
yeah, just imagine what that would have been like if the Baron fight would have played different. It could have been a completely different game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you're PTC, it's almost hard to walk away from these games and not, almost look exclusively at your early game. I feel like there's so many times where the game easily could have just been in their favor if they weren't at such a huge deficit almost every single early game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that. I think Viz played fantastic. He had great pathing. He got early ganks off that led to kills
Yeah.
in topside games 2 and 3. That played a huge factor in it. Bot lane picking the Kate Morg. They were always very dominant. They had big leads in CS. This game may be a little bit different because Corky and Zach were able to get some really good ganks off early and caught them up. But both these games they had such good leads. They always had the early dragons. They just rotated a little bit better and were able to push those into victories.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I was like, how different does this game look if they just ban the Morgana with it? That EGL picked 3 times in a row. Like that last fight, like Jig and Jag landed the Zac jump onto the Caitlyn, but the Black Shield was there to negate all the card control. So
And it's the same
I mean,
with
EGL
the Nunu in game 2, right? Where it's like every time you wanted to push your bottom lane advantage with your Lulu and Aphelios when you were shoving in the Ezreal Morgana lane, you just get the Black Shield and then the Nunu Snowball just kind of can't do anything, right? So
Yep.
Yeah, I think I definitely would have liked to see a Kate ban in game 3. They banned Kate in game 2, and that went really well for them. They ended up picking up the victory, but then they kind of altered their bans for game 3, which ended up having a great game on Caitlyn. Vindy did so. And Vindy here asking for an interview. You know, he did get a pentakill in that third game,
Yeah.
but
Undeserved.
undeserved.
And that was a very good team play. Like EGL's communication was like good in the clutch moments. I mean that Baron fight was a crazy turn. But I don't know. It was just very back and forth for both these teams.
Yeah, and props to Padawan for subbing in 2 of the games. He was able to have a great showing on set. They picked up the win in game 1, and was able to survive until Gilio was ready to come in on game 3. And we saw this pretty cool Camille Galio comp where you see them layering ults, which showed pretty effective in side lanes, and that's something to look forward to in the future as well.
Mhm.
All right, and I think that is going to close it out for me. Do we have any final thoughts before we end the stream?
I don't know. Just make sure you tune in next week. Next week we
actually,
have
we should pull up the next week game, right?
schedule. Yeah, I believe it's Fire Nation versus EGL, the winning team from this weekend. So as of now, it's still the same time, 2 p.m. But
So yeah, it should be that May 31st game you see right here, Fire Nation versus EGL. Both the teams at 1-0 right now, so that should be a close and interesting game, and it'll separate the pack for one of these teams, starting having a good 2-0 start into the league.
Yeah, being pretty familiar with one of the teams here, I would say Fire Nation is probably going to go undefeated in the entire split, but we'll play the games just so we can put on a show, and yeah, we'll be here at 2 p.m. next Sunday.
All right, thanks to everybody that decided to tune into the stream, and we will see you next week.